Hey, Lahads! Okay, I was just making sure V Bridger was working. Having V Bridger on is like a blessing and a curse. Just saying. It increases like the quality of face tracking, but at the same time, it puts up with a lot of the secret. But uh, it's not like as great. But let's get into it. Okay, welcome to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. This is Game 2, Great Ace Attorney Resolve. This is the second part of the trial in this game. And currently, I think we had another witness, right? We proved that the witnesses were kind of lying and stuff, so we need new witnesses, I think. And we also have our opponent, the prosecutor of the case, our best friend instead. Also, thank you so much for the awa awa redeem. Here's your awa awa. Awa awa. Oh, there you are, Otto. What kept you, my dear fellow? Hello, Mr. Jones, Gina. Sure about what you said there? That the boss, actually died the day before. Pretty odd to swallow. Yes, I was shocked by the revelation too, Gina. As was I, possibly more shocked than both of you. It's not a competition, Mr. Jones. I was more shocked than all of you put together. This is the autopsy report in question, is it? It's strange that there's no time of death noted. I suppose there's a simple explanation. Or perhaps it was a deliberate omission. Here, if it was deliberate, it puts me in mind of the last case we worked on. Dr. Scythe. No. Anyway, it seems that on the day before Lord Van Zeeks discovered his body, Inspector Gregson was investigating the Red-Headed League, so perhaps something happened with them. Think of it. You had trouble with those League men too, didn't you, Mr. Schultz? You were taken in by their trick. No. Naturally, I wasn't taken in, as you put it. My sleuth-hound interest was merely piqued slightly by the rare scent of a weekly £4 income. That scent matched the underlying scent of deception, I suppose. The two criminals in question are the pair we saw being arrested yesterday, aren't they? In Mr. Sholmes' suite, I mean. That's right, Suze. And it was me who took them in. Thanks to a tip by a good law-abiding citizen. Indeed, yours truly. So it's going to be that pair in the witness stand next, isn't it? Something doesn't quite make sense to me, though. The day before Inspector Gregson was found, you hadn't had trouble with the Red-Headed League. Yeah, had you? Why would the inspector have been investigating them? Well, the likely explanation would be that Gregson's sleuth was peaked. The rare scent of a weekly £4 income. Don't tar him with the same brush as you, Sholmes. Yes, well, but there's the whole issue of Inspector Gregson being investigated by Lord Van Zeeks for some reason. The Reaper, the Red-Headed League, Inspector Gregson, Lord Van Zeeks, Kazuma. I feel as though he knew we'd arrived at this point somehow. Gosh, I think you're right. What's he really trying to achieve here today? I think he wants to achieve the real reason why his father died. This recess will be over very shortly. Yes, you're right. Kazuma was determined that he should be the one to prosecute this trial. He was determined that I should take this defense. Just what is it that he's hoping to make me see it? I get the feeling we're a long way from the end of this trial yet. Are you ready then, Miss Susato? Yes. Sorry if I'm constantly looking off to the side. I'm just making sure that V Bridger doesn't disconnect for the umpteenth time. In the name of Her Majesty, I did hereby declare this court to be session. We resumed the closed court hearing of Baroque Vances. Dear President, Lieutenant accused of murder. Now then, Prosecutor Asogi. Have you summoned the witnesses as requested? Yes, the two members of the Red-Headed League who planned and carried out the deception. They arrived not long ago from the local prison by police carriage. Very good. Bailiff ushered the two men into the courtroom. Wasn't it one man and one woman? Maybe it is two men. I don't know. These two men are currently being held by the police on the suspicion of attempted extortion. I would like some spaghetti though. You may omit your occupations, but state your names now for the court. I am Fabian de Rousseau. Flavian de Rousseau. A descendant of the Great Rousseau family from Nice and France. And my name is my name is Peppino de Rossi. Pepperoni. I am the third son of the great Familia de Rossi, the landowners from Napoli. Two men first became acquainted at a boarding school for European nobility. Those who graduate from TIM seek out the future leaders of Europe. But, do you have any idea how boring it is to be born with noble blood? Alores, I'm making my mission to get the better of the world by employing the little gray cells of my brain. That is all I am trying to do, huh? So, that's the only reason for this whole grand deception you've been carrying out. Oui, you could say that. Not bad, eh? He has grand ideas, but the petty plans. This strange combination is the charm of the hilarious brothers. See, capo? Listen to me, Peppino. I have two things to say to you. Sure. Are you about to tell me one of your grandi anecdotes? Viva. Firstly, I want you to calling me this capo. Secondly, we are not the hilarious brothers. This is serious business. Che bello! There it is. The capo strumpacard. The furrow bro. It is deep, huh, capo? The furrow and the meaning of your words. Who has been led to believe that under the banner of the Red-Headed League, you have conspired to swindle money from unsuspecting members of the public. Is that true? Oui, c'est ça. And what exactly was the nature of this deception by which you plan to defraud? Alors, I will explain. No, capo. Leave it to me. As you see, we both have the vivid red hair, no? At school, we were teased for this without pity. The capo here, he was many times behind the schoolhouse, crying like the dead Trevi fountain. Well, those dogs, one day they will respect us redheads. Every night he would bury his head in his pillow, in his pillow. C'est bien. C'est bien. C'est bien, Peppino. Enough. I will explain the rest. The first step was the newspaper advertisement. About 1 week before the plan was put into operation, we listed the same notice in every paper in London. Yes, we saw that notice. It was this one, I believe, titled "To the Red-Headed League." Oui, c'est ça. I am honored that you have seen it. State that the only condition for joining the league is having flame-colored hair. That if you satisfy the interview panel and are admitted into the league, you could receive a weekly income of £4. The date specified, red-headed hopefuls gathered in droves at a park specified in the advertisement. From each person present, this pair took an application fee of 5 shillings. Mais il m'a dit to France. It was a plan most elegant, no? No, it was most dishonorable. To be frank, I'm stunned anybody was foolish enough to be taken in by such an obvious trick. The park was described by one witness as choked with red-headed folk, like a Coster's orange barrow. The day on which all these men gathered to apply was a day before the victim was discovered. Crucially, these two men spoke face-to-face with every single person present that day. I have seen more red-headed people in one day than I would seen the rest of my life. See. And now, every time I see the couple's hair, I feel sick to my stomach. Anyway, why have we been summoned here today? Sorry? The date for our trial was not until tomorrow, I was told. Naturally, neither of these men have been told any details about this trial. They have only been shown this photograph. Very good. So, Mr. DeRisso and Mr. DeRossi, you will now give your formal testimony on the subject of the gentleman pictured in this photograph. Of course, we are always ready to help with the law. Unless it's to defraud people, I guess. The man in the photograph. We had more than 1,000 red-headed people assembled in the park on Lime Street that day. But I don't recall the man in this photograph, eh, Capo? No, I don't remember him. Obviously, he is dead now. But I assure you, he was not in the park. Allora, this victim is nothing to do with us. You have a lot to answer for, Peppino. It is your fault that we got caught in the first place. Peppino. I like that name. Peppino. You gave him a sworn testimony that this man in the photograph was not present. Can you be certain? Oui. I am quite certain. We did not interview this man. Nobody looking like this came to the park. This I can promise. It must be noted that you have been arrested for a grand deception, however. Accordingly, this court has little confidence in your assurances. Ufa! With this attitude, we get to nowhere, huh? Really, you're sulky now. This confidential document was obtained directly from Scotland Yard. It records an entity from the inspector's private diary dated the day before the incident. It reads, Lime Street, red-headed lead, undercover. I have the answer. Maybe there was another similar event in the park on the day in question, eh? That is ridiculous. There's no question that Inspector Gregson was investigating the red-headed lead. Which means it's quite possible that's when he was killed. Very well, the defense may proceed with the cross-examination now. Oh, time to cross-examination. We had more than 1,000 red-headed people assembled in this park on Lime Street that day. Hold on, let me open Discord just in case I get a message. Hold it! 1,000 people. That's a very big crowd. It was quite a spectacle. Redheads had come from all over the capital. See, the capo here, he has the magnetismo animale, eh? Nobody else could attract so many people. If I could be born again, I would be the capo. All those people wanted was the money, Peppino. The £4 per week. You're suggesting that you spoke personally with all 1,000 applicants? Oui, that we did. Because every one of them paid us 5 shillings. We take their names and we take their money. And we take their addresses as well. And then I tell them we take some days to let them know by a post. Finito. Maybe 2 minuti a person. We start early in the morning and we stop late in the night. So, you earned 5,000 shillings in one day? That's a small fortune. Who'd have thought there were 1,000 such gullible redheads in London to start with? One of whom was the great detective with chemically altered hair. But I don't recall the man in this photograph, eh, Capo? Hold it! No, he doesn't look at all familiar. No, I don't think so. And this is a wig, eh? He was trying to trick us. I do not like the people who are trying to trick the other people. Aren't you, says the con artist. If between them He interviewed 1,000 people with the red hair. It would be unreasonable to expect them to remember every face. No, no, signore. I may be small, but my memories are very large. I never forget such things. In my opinion, I do not think this man was in the park. He's not going to give the court definite reasons. Hey, Capo, you didn't see a man like this, huh? How's my Italian accent? I like the Italian accent. Oh no, I don't remember him. Remember him, and obviously he is dead now. But I assure you, he was there. But according to what you said, you spoke with 1,000 or more people today. Oui, that's true. My eyes were burning by the end of the day. Surely then, you can't actually remember every single face. How are you so certain that this particular man wasn't present? Normally, the red hair is very distinctive, eh? But not when you have 1,000 redheads crowding around. Then it's just an eyesore. But if there was some information you could give us, maybe we would recall. That is not the line, Peppino. Remember, we do not remember him. We are sure of that fact, huh? If there was a man with a red hairpiece, but his mustache did not match his color, then I do not think I could have forgotten him. It's not that these two had only been shown that photograph and they've been told nothing else at all. Wait. I wanted to investigate the hairpiece. You have already investigated that. Okay. But what if I fed them just one other detail about the victim, for example? It's fish and chips. I can certainly appreciate that just knowing the man had red hair wouldn't help you remember in this situation. But what if I told you that the man was always munching on a packet of fish and chips? Do you remember a man who was eating incessantly? Not really. I was looking only at the heads of the applicants. I wouldn't know the fish and chips any more than the caviar and smoked salmon. Or a spaghetti. Me, I love the spaghetti. Really? I had no idea. Tell them again what you said before, Peppino. Ah, si, Capo, si. I say it again and again. Allora, the victim is not nothing to do with us. Wait, hold on. You have a lot to answer for, Peppino. It is your fault that we got so caught in the first place. Oh, wait. Dude, I meant to press on the fourth one, and I keep accidentally moving on to the next one. Only I only have a word for that. See, but what else can we do, huh? True. Oof, we are not having much of fun these days. But first we are arrested, and then we shall show them the horrible pictures of a dead man. And now you question every single thing we say. We are the victims here. That's narcissism. Hey, Capo? No, you were caught carrying out a plot to swindle hundreds of innocent people. You had to bring that up, eh? It's not fair. Hey, Capo? Hold it! What do you mean by that? Cavolo! You promised not to say, hey, Capo? After we had taken all the money that day, we should have left the country. That was my plan. I have left the purchasing of the tickets for the ferry to Dunkirk to my companion here. But he bought them for the wrong day. Oops. See, but it is an easy to make mistake to make, huh? The 31st. Oof, I have no sympathy for you. We were an all day late for the boat because of your stupidity. And it's only because of this that the so-called great detective caught us. Capo, you know what I think? This is the work of God. It is a holy punishment, eh? Peppino, for the last time, this is not only punishment. It is only your fault. Don't blame God for your own lowly mistakes. You're making me sick with Zynga. Maybe I make a mistake, huh? But when it's time to eat up the pasta, no one is the faster. I've seen the evidence. I want pasta. Oh shit! I have pasta sauce at home now! I can make my own pasta! Poggers! Wait, hold on. Dude. I love me pasta. I like the acidity of the pasta, no? Okay, I think I'm gonna press on the third one again. Yeah, there's the only thing that we had to talk about was the third.
Hold it!
I love me pasta. I like to put the meat. I like to put the meatballs in the pasta. Okay. So it wasn't the fish and chips. What about his name? The other one would have been... Oh, you know what? The name makes sense because they have written it down. The man in the photograph is a Monsieur Gregson. Names, they are boring. I did not listen to any of them. Oh. It was not a real interview, huh? It was just for a show. Why would I remember the names? That's right. This changes nothing. The men in the photograph are not there, as we have already said. Wait. If we... Wait, okay, wait. I'm gonna go back and press this. I guess his profession.
Hold it!
Because there would be no other reason to do any of that unless it was like an actual point. And everything else that I pressed on, everything else I pressed on, freaking, didn't give us any more info. Okay, so his profession. Certainly appreciate that just knowing the man had red hair wouldn't help you remember in this situation. But what if I told you the man in the red hair piece was actually a detective? The man in the photograph, a detective. Yes. It would appear he found your notice in the paper suspicious and decided to investigate incognito. Sorry, but this changes nothing.
Excuse me!
So it was a detective profession. Something to add, Mr. De Rossi. See, I am always adding something. Parmesan, olive oil, pepper. What I mean is, did you not agree with your friend's last remark, by any chance? Eh? What did he say or not? Just to say, about the detective? Yes, that. Keep your mouth shut, Peppino. You have said enough already. But why, Capo? What is the problem? There was a man who said, I am an inspector from Scotland Yard. What? Good lord. Now that's important. Volte-face in your... Explain this volte-face in your testimony, witness. It's simple. A man was at the park and said to us that there was no such man. My die! What are you saying, Capo? Have you forgotten, eh? I have forgotten nothing. Nobody like this came to the park. Basta, Capo, basta! You beat me at the many things, but not to the memory and the meals. Like I said, when it is time to eat the pasta, no one is faster. But you are inferior to me in every other way.
Objection.
Shut up. Objection. Please stop trying to stop the witness from speaking. He's also Cosmo. I love it. Sorry, I got a message from a friend. Trop tard. This image is on. Indeed he does, sir. There was a man who came to the park and said he was an inspector from Scotland Yard. That ending was awful. However, you look nothing like the man in the photograph. He was someone else. How can he be so sure? Because to start with, his face was completely different. See, it's true. The man who came was a younger. His face was clean shaven, his eyes were sadder, his chin was thinner. Resemblance whatsoever then. Anyway, I was not going to be fooled. I took the obvious precaution and said to him, if you are really a detective, show us the proof. See, the capo here. He doesn't take no nonsense, eh? Well, he was very prepared. He said he was at an identification. Identification? You mean official police inspector identification? That is most unconvincing. Sorry, my lord. Counsel, no incognito inspector would offer his identification. Inspection is quite out of the question. Why would he expose his true identity? Really, the papers were fake. Certo, capo, you are a genius. As we say in Italia, it takes a thief to recognize another, eh? And what happened after he announced that he was a detective? He became very annoying. He said you were under investigation. So I took his papers from him and chased him out of the park. It was fantastico! And look, here is the identification. He stole it from the man. He had it coming. He made us very scared. But he was not who he said he was. Give it to us. Let me look at it. I believe it would be prudent for these identifications to be entered into evidence. But I like them. Thank you. Now, let us return to the witness's testimony. Okay. Let us see. A place. Wait, I'm trying to open it, you ding dong. Well, I suppose we should see what this inspector's identification looks like inside. Alright, 997, wait. Isn't this Lestrade's, the ID 997? Oh, why is what? This is genuine identification. That's unbelievable. This is a real thing after all. Oh fuck. Is that everything? Okay, now let's look at everything they said again. Wait, whoops. Thousand redheaded. This man in the photograph. Don't remember, obviously he is dead, but he was not in the photograph. Lord, this victim has done nothing. Okay, let's save. So the reason why I'm saving is, I mean, kind of is to, well, technically save scum, but at the same time not to save scum. But because look, if I lose the whole thing, I'm gonna have to like go through the whole dialogue again, and I am not wanting to do that. I mean, if we fail, we fail. We'll just go back to the last save. But I think I'm gonna present here. We're gonna keep our mistakes as much as we can, at least.
Objection!
I wonder if I could ask you to examine this identification book very closely. Miss Lestrade. I'm Miss Lestrade. What is your intention here, Counsel? Is this really a fake, or is this genuine? That's the question. which we can't answer ourselves.
Objection!
Don't be ridiculous. No Scotland Yard detective would allow his or her identification to be stolen. That is the boss's. No question about it. It can't be. As I suspected, the undercover detective who attended the red-headed police enrollment all day in question was a real Inspector Gregson, carrying out an incognito investigation. Zidalor! Hold on! But if the boss had his identification stolen, he would have reported it straight away. I mean, he was always at me about it. If you lose some ads, report it at once, he'd say. Could it be then that the inspector was physically unable to report it? Physically? Eh? What are you saying? Unable to? You're not suggesting. Yes, it's quite possible that he was killed before he had the chance to report his identification stolen. No! Oda! The defense posits that the victim was killed the day before his body was discovered at a different location. Do you two have anything to say about that? I know nothing. I don't know nothing. Pull yourself together, Peppino. Mon Dieu, you can behave a little more like a master criminal than that, no? Now I wish I had returned to Italia. Stop crying, Peppino, please. Otherwise, Lummy? Stop your whining and start talking. Well, I believe the court will need to hear your story in considerably greater detail. I know nothing. I don't know nothing. But you will tell everything, or face the worst possible outcome. You'll dry your eyes and testify again about these identification papers and the precise circumstances under which you came by them. Oh, sorry, I had crying out loud. Get it? Because they're crying out loud? Ha 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 ha. Oh, poor them. The detective and identification. The truth is, we took him prisoner and kept him for the night at our secret hideout. Smack you, I will. Even though I didn't think he was the real detective, I was too scared to let him go that day, just in case. We took the man's identification from him and shut him in the room next to ours. There might have been a little tussle, but we did him no harm. And then the next morning we let him go. He spent the night in a nice room. It was nothing like prison, really. Don't smack me, don't bunk, don't. It's fine, it's fine. But no, see, no, it was not like a prison. It was a very comfortable and calm and happy. Hey, capo. It was never part of my plan, I swear. Oof. So you think it was my fault, eh? Just because I got the date of the ferry wrong. By one a little a day. I do not think it was your fault, Peppino. I know it. No. Per favore, capo. It's not fair. She'll have plenty of time for squabbling back at the prison, gentlemen. I don't believe this. How could he have been a little detective? Counsel for the defense, proceed with the cross-examination. So on the day before the incident, Gregson spent the night confined in the spare's hideout. Damn. Yeah, I think if someone showed their identification papers to me, told me they were a detective undercover and investigating me, I'd say bullshit. Hold it! Where was the secret hideout? You have to believe me. I never intended for that to happen. And I'm sure the detective did not intend it either. Think. But there was nothing else I could do. See, nothing else. This was the first crime for the capo. He was at the end of his wits. I have told you before, Peppino, that is not the way to describe a criminal mastermind. How about this hideout of yours? An old empty house behind the park on Lime Street. We rented the place for 2 days. It was an inspired idea by the capo here. What's the idea, I would say? No, not impulsive, inspired. Aye, capo? What am I supposed to say to that, Peppino? It was in the house described that you can find Inspector Gregson. That's it. But you have to remember I was under the impression that he was a pretender, not a real inspector. Doesn't quite add up though. If you didn't think the man was a real inspector, there would have been no reason to take him prisoner, would there? No, you're alright, but we couldn't be completely certain. Okay. Just in case for what? Scared, why? Because, why had he come to the park? We didn't know. There was a chance that he had seen through my plan. And if that was the case, he would go straight to the police station to blow out the whistle on us. Even if he was just a feigning to be an inspector, he was up to no good, eh? Without a doubt. I think most people would agree that it's you two who were up to no good. Well, see, you may be right. Aye, capo. The point is, we were not able to escape from England immediately. That is why we had no choice but to take the man prisoner. What I don't understand is why the inspector felt the need to show you his identification in the first place. See, I asked myself the same question. We were writing down the names and addresses of all the people who we took 5 shillings from that day. I have forgotten what name he said, but the address, it startled me. CC, address, Scotland Yard Homicide Division, he said. What? He probably didn't like your face, Peppino. Anyway, I was not rude, I just politely asked him why he had said it. And that's when he started to say he was an inspector. Not long afterwards, he took out his identification. What was Inspector Gregson playing? I don't think it was Inspector Gregson. I think he was killed even the day before. Getting back to your hideout, you said. See, we did. I feel like if only they could tell us, give us the report on who it was in their name. I never seen a real one, of course. But he was so suspicious this man. Allora, I was thinking, it must be falso. Hey, capo. It is just as Peppino said. We were convinced it was not genuine. And so together, the hilarious brothers, we took the man captive. Wait. If you think about it, the Rossi is Mario, and the Rousseau is Luigi. All we did was shove him inside the locked room. Then we made preparations to sample all of the money. For a penny, for a pound. There might have been a little tussle, but we did him no harm. And the next morning we let him go. Oh wait, whoops, I forgot. Forgot to press this. What do you mean by a little tussle exactly? Both. It was nothing. Just a minor incident. The fire inspector, he was a piece of the work. Hey, capo. What happened? Oof. It was a disaster. We gave him a nice room, and what does he do? In the middle of the night, he tries to escape through the ventilator. Can you blame him? We chased him, Benzel, and caught him again. Can you blame us? Yes. Wait, you didn't shoot the man in your haste, did you? Who do you think we are? Of course not. I simply got hold of him again and took him back to the room.
Excuse me.
Excuse me? Mr. DeRossi, is it something wrong? Hey, me! Something that Mr. DeRusso's just said seemed to make you, well, it seemed to make you act even more strangely than usual. What was that all about? Cavolo, at times like that, you don't want to have the capo after you. You believe in me. And I speak from a personal experience. Personal experience? That is enough, Peppino. There is no need to say more. The truth is, the night before we put the red-haired bleak plan into action, I was scared. It was not fair to the capo, but I tried to run away. It's a shame you didn't manage it. But the capo here, he came after me like a turbine, eh? And he dragged me back to the house kicking and screaming. I still have the bruises to prove it, eh, capo? Bruises, you say? You wanna see, my fantastical bruises? That is enough now, Peppino. No one likes to look any part of you. What to do, I shall show you I don't. I show you I don't. You do, now. Damn, Kazuma. Allora, if everyone wants to see, then I do it. See? Ecco, you see, it's still very visible, eh? That red ring around your neck. Wait, hold up. I feel like I've seen this before. You got that dragged back to the house. Hold up. I think I saw one here on him. But of course not him. Definitely not her. Not him. Ooh, wait, hold on. People. I'm looking at their necks. Hey, it's gossip! See, the capo, sometimes he is very rough, and I said that's enough. Peppino's neck is nothing to do with what you're talking about here. You have my word. Yes. What is your opinion, Council? It's very important! Doesn't matter, it's important! Mr. DeRossi, I'm going to have to ask you. Amend your testimony with details about that mark on your neck. Hi, Capo. You see? Everyone is interested in what I say, huh? Ugh. Very well, you will amend your testimony as requested, Mr. DeRossi. See, if you really want to know. Okay, I'm gonna present. Oh, I can't present a human? Oh, damn it.
Hold it!
Are you saying that red mark was caused by... See, a big collar made from the leather. Wait, is he into BDSM? A leather collar. Is this true, Mr. DeRusso? What? We had the same banana at home when I was younger. It is a souvenir from that time with a very strong chain. I don't know, man. BDSM people do that too. Strong chain? You put that around your friend's neck? I'm sorry. I was so angry that he was leaving me alone. You did not have to tie the chain to the leg of a bed, though, huh? I would not have tried to run again. You didn't do that to Inspector Gregson as well, did you? Treat the people equal, huh? Is the capo here's motto, eh? It's starting to sound a lot more like a prison all of a sudden. The capo is a tough, but the capo is a rough. I shouldn't have done it. So, the following morning when you released the Inspector, he had that red ring around his neck, just like me. Peppino, s'il vous plaît. Believe it now. Now you know, huh? The capo here, you don't want to tangle with him, eh? But for the Inspector, it's not so bad. I really want to present a human being. think I've gotten everything crushed except for...
Hold it!
And I'm hoping that on the wraparound, we are allowed to present a human. If you say that, then I say this. There's nothing that takes away our freedom too. There's something that takes away our freedom too. The lack of money. So we are the prisoners as well, huh? All of us. Huh? No money, no freedom. This is the truth. It make me mad and it make me sad. What can we do, huh? Well, I feel so disenfranchised. Take money to work. Though it'll cost you, of course. Oh, there you have it. You see, that is why we need the Red-Head League to fight for the justice. Perhaps he has a point. No, Mr. Naruhodo. All we did was to give the man a comfortable place to sleep for the night. And you say it was a prison, huh? Huh? Perhaps he has a point again. No, again, Mr. Naruhodo. You should have heard them snoring. Madai! If anyone was disturbed, it was us! Much to go on, really. That just really does make me wonder about this pocket watch going to the inspector. Yes, the one who treasured so much. He was confined but not restrained, as the witnesses are required. He would still have been able to wind his watch. Very true, yes. So did Inspector Gregson actually die while he was being held captive by these redheads? In which case, is it possible that these two young men are responsible for Inspector Gregson? To be honest, I find that hard to believe. Perhaps we should try to find out exactly what happened. Very wise, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes. Wait. I'm gonna look at this one again. We're gonna just skip through it. We're gonna see if there's anything we can... He has the same red line, you know? What am I supposed to present? I'm supposed to present on something. Let me look at this. Let me press this one again. Okay, that's not it. I pressed that. I don't remember I'm pretty sure I pressed it, but I don't remember pressing what it was. Oh yeah, we have pressed this. Definitely, I have to... Okay. I definitely have to present something here. What about the autopsy report? Additional observation doesn't say anything about a ring around his neck. So I'm thinking it's either the autopsy report or the photograph of the victim. Yeah, I think it's either one of those two. I'm gonna save. All right, let us present. Autopsy report.
Objection!
Nope, it was not that. I'd say it's undeniable by a contradiction at all. Yeah, same. Like, come on, you know how. Unfortunate. Okay. Yeah, time for everything. And I definitely did the autopsy report. What about the photograph of the victim?
Objection!
Hey, it's a photograph of the victim. Okay. So the day before his body was discovered, Inspector Gregson was taken prisoner while working incognito. No, it was not like that. It was hardly a prison, and it was an invitation to stay. It was only... However you describe it, there's one glaring inconsistency that remains. What inconsistency is this, Counsel? I would ask the court to look closely at this photograph of the victim, Inspector Gregson. You will see that there is no red ring visible around his neck. Eh? But that makes no sense. It was me who took the collar off the man in the morning. And I saw the red bruises on his neck, just like I have. Given that the mark is still clearly visible on his witness's neck, we'd expect to see bruising on the victim who was put in the collar more recently than Mr. De Rossi. Indeed! That is most peculiar. But what we tell you, huh? We say this from the beginning, many times. Peppino is right. The man in the photograph he is someone different to the man we held captive that night. I think they're right. It's hard on life focusing on this incognito inspector. Not Inspector Gregson at all.
Objection!
That's true. However, how do you explain the inspector's identification? This is a genuine identification book issued by Scotland Yard. It's inconceivable that someone could have stolen such an important item from the inspector. The prosecution made that assertion itself. And we also know that the inspector had made a note about the Red-Headed League in his diary for that day, which surely means we can't divorce the two events completely. The inconsistency noted by the defense is most troubling. If it were the real Inspector Gregson whom these two red-headed gentlemen encountered, the fact that no bruising can be seen around his neck defies explanation. But equally, they actually encountered an imposter. How did that person come to be in possession of the real Inspector's identification? Does the defense have plausible explanation? Yes, I do. It happened after. Because those are the facts. Facts cannot lie. No, the facts can't lie. Even when they point to something so incredible, it's almost unbelievable. Well, my lord, the true identity of the person who turned up in the park for the Red-Headed League's enrollment is revealed by information the court record. Good gracious! Who then? Who? Very tantalizing, Mr. Naruhodo. Well, why don't you help us all to see whatever truth it is that you've apparently seen? Who exactly was this inspector that appeared before Mr. De Rousseau and Mr. De Rossi? An imposter. Though it seems incredible, I admit the undeniable facts point to only one thing. Since no bruising can be seen on the victim's neck, the person whom these two red-headed men took prisoner that day cannot have been Inspector Gregson. In other words, your whole argument up to now has been a waste of time.
Objection!
On the contrary, I haven't finished. But there's no bruising on the victim's neck. Hey, Sunshine, I'm doing well. How are you? Immediately posed next. Who exactly was this man in the park on Line Street, about to be carrying Inspector Gregson's identification? See, that's right! We tell the same story every time. Whoever this man was, the cop dragged him from a pillar to a post with the dog collar. Mon Dieu, Peppino, I was not so harsh on as you say, huh? So, so, so who was that the false inspector, eh? Who was he? Clearly, the defense has an idea about that. About the true identity of the man these two imprisoned that night. I must ask the counsel for the defense to elaborate post this. Who did the witness encounter in the park posing as Inspector Gregson? Gossip, can you explain? Goodness me, isn't that? One of the witnesses who was in the stand at this very courtroom earlier today. A nameless man whose only occupation appears to be peddling hearsay to passersby.
Objection!
What on earth would a street seller be doing with the police inspector's identification papers? Witnesses, is this the man or not? What has happened to his lip? Ah. See, this man is not for the Red Egg League, eh? He's looking for the Twisted Lip League, no? Perhaps rather than making such a rash claim next time, perhaps you should bite your lip instead. It seems improbable, yes, but one undeniable fact remains. During his testimony earlier, I noticed something around the man's neck. A red ring of bruising. Eh? What? The defense demands that Mr. Gossip be brought back to the stand. Maybe he's actually a bad guy. Well, I never. An undeniable ring of bruising indeed. Identical to that of the witness beside him. And what's going on here, eh? I've always had this, me. It's a birthmark, ain't it? Birthmark, you say? I assume the reason you've been called to the stand has been explained to you. Hi, something about an inspector again. But I'm telling you, you got it all wrong as usual. You're denying all knowledge of it. Well, of course I am. Are you trying to kill me with all this nonsense, eh? Well, at least you'll have more stories to peddle back on Fresno Street, won't you? Now, we're going to need you to testify again. And you, Mr. DeRusso and Mr. DeRosso, I'm sure you'll cooperate, won't you? Give me cat this time? Okay. Meow. Nah. Do we have any choice? We are in a big trouble, eh, couple? It's quite enough dilatory chat to proceed with the testimony. What kind of testimony will we get this time? The inspector and our identification revisited. The man who claimed to be an inspector that day was definitely not this man. It's right, see? You think we would forget these grand lips, huh? I never leave Fresno Street, alright? I have no interest in any red-headed league. All alone in the world, me? I have no kinfolk or nothing. Why would I be involved in something like that? Just look at me, eh? Does it look like I could carry off a disguise with a face like this? What if the face like that is a disguise? It certainly appears that we have the wrong man. What have I been telling you, There was no need for this pointless testimony. That's right, I'm just a simple peddler. Remember? Fresno Street's all I know. How would I have come by a police inspector's identification book, eh? Well, yes, that's hard to explain. But how did you know we were talking about that? Who thinks I might be onto something? I stand steadfastly at your side as always, Mr. Naruhodo. The man who inspectors that day was definitely not this man.
Hold it!
You say, but how can you be quite so certain? There is no need to put your hands on this dice, monsieur. Surely there's reasoners on it, no? Because I have never before seen lips like this. Nevertheless, there's this clear red mark around Mr. Gossip's neck. And it looks very much like the left behind by the chin scritches. Hold on, let me bring out the notepad. I need to add things to add. Add to trigger fire. Chin scritches. Bonk. Alright, thank you. That's a great idea, Lahads. It does look very much like my neck though, eh? No, this is a birthmark, lad. The biggest list in London and a neck to die for. Hey, they broke the mold when they made me. For this first time in my life, I feel lucky to have been born with red hair. And thank you so much for the red headpats. And I thought being Japanese made you stand out in London. So you maintain that you've never seen this man before. I don't know. I don't know how to say the C with the thing under an A. Is it sa? I swear to it by the flames of my hair. I should study some French. So fierce pride has outgrown the frustration with your hair now, has it? That's right, see. You'd think we would forget the giant lips, eh? Well, yes, I don't imagine I'll forget those lips in a hurry either. That's what I am saying. For some reason it makes me want to eat. How did they even call it? An eclair. You know, I've never seen the hair as black as yours before either. Likewise, I've never seen red hair like yours until I came to Britain. Interesting. See, maybe it's a nationality trait, huh? Maybe all the people from this man's country have a grander lips. No, lad. No, lad. I was born right here on Fresno Street, and I've never left. Oof. That is a problem. That is the problem, see. Definitely didn't go to the park on lunch that day, Mr. Gossip. Now, how many times do you want me to say it, eh?
Hold it!
Wait, I might press on that. Don't get a name like Gossip for nothing, eh? It's my business to know what's going off in tech. I sold that tasty tidbit to a fair few redheads that came past me. Just between us, I even got sandwiched to cough up for it. Well, it does have a very red nose, if that counts. Who knows? But as you can see, my own hair has not got a hint of red in it. And in any case, Fresno Street's my patch. You won't catch me sidling off to some other part of town.
Is that so?
No, sir, not likely.
Excuse me.
Interesting. Mr. De Rousseau. Ugh. V. Can I help you? Did Mr. Gossip's words just now lead you to remember something relevant, perhaps? It was the other day when I was looking for a place near the park. A small house or something. It'd be the headquarters of Redhead League, yes. I visited an housing agent on Lion Street and there I saw him. This man was paying money to the agent. What? Mr. Gossip? With a housing agent? He had some kind of contract in his hand and they were clearly discussing the terms. But, no, you're mistaken, chum. I've never left Fresno Street, me, like I said before. You've mistaken me for someone else. Someone with the same face. No, the capo is right. I remember it too. He was paying the man with the banknotes. With notes? Like I said, that wasn't me. I was curious why this man with the dirty clothes had so much money. So I looked at the name on the papers. What name was written? Mr. Gossip? No, this man, he lies. He tells you that he has no name. But in fact, his name is Hugh Boone, huh? It's better than Mr. Gossip, I think, see? No! I'm a peddler of tidbits of information, like I said, on Fresno Street. And that's that. I don't much like folk talking about my personal life. Indeed. It's not the intention of the court to invade the privacy of the witnesses. Very well, I shall respect your wishes, sir. The aforementioned name shall be redacted from all court records of this trial. Assuming no objections.
Objection!
I'm sorry, my lord, but the defense does object. Do we? Do we have anything that ties him back, the Hugh Boone, back to this? Let me look at this again. Okay, there was nothing else here. And I know that this was... We now know that this was, him. Mariah Gorey. Gregson's photograph. Wait! Wait! What's her name? Oh, wait, no, that's Daily Vigil. Barry Calden. Letter of introduction. That's for Calden from Professor Mikotova. This is Mr. Vigil. So we don't have anything on Hugh Boone. Okay. Because the name just mentioned has a very deep significance to this case. Does it? You similarly object, Prosecutor Asogi. As it happens, my lord, that particular name has already been mentioned during today's proceeding. Well, I never! In what capacity? Hugh Boone, the name of the leaseholder of the room. Let me put this very simply. The victim's body was discovered in your rented room. I suggest that you start talking. Well, alright. I suppose that might be the case, eh? So your real name is Hugh Boone. Now, just between us, I don't like to blow my own trumpet, but there's no finer peddler of tidbits in town. So I've happened to be able to afford a grubby little room in a falling down backstreet townhouse. You do? And once every 6 months, I go and pay the rent to the agent on Lime Street. Hey, I remember now. There were 2 vulgar redheads in there last time. Hey, if either of us is the vulgar, it's not the me. Think again, Peppino. Why didn't you bring this up before? It's like I told you already. I don't like talking about my personal life. I'm a tidbit peddler as far as anyone else is concerned. No fuss. You will update your testimony to include this most surprising revelation, Mr. Boone. If I must, leaseholder Scotland Yard, of course, since the body was discovered, has been here under our notice all along. I read the room where that fellow was found, it's true. But what difference it makes? Hold it! So, you live in that room, presumably, do you? No, I don't live there. What do you think? There's no bed, is there? Just a desk. Then, why would you want to rent it? Well, I don't think I should have to say, really. And how about the notice board in there? Which was covered from top to bottom in confidential documents. Only the police should have access to. No, that board's not mine. The inspector must have brought it along. It's only the other bits and bobs that belong to me. The desk and the chair and that. People don't generally carry enormous notice books around them. The real question is, why was Inspector Gregson killed in your room? Well, obviously, I'm not the faintest idea. I mean, it's causing me no end of bother, to be honest. Seems to be that Mr. Boone, would rather as little is known about his room as possible. Yes, it does come across to me. More important, knowing that the scene of his room. In particular, there's one part of his testimony that's really bothering me. I'm finally going to do this. Hold on.
Hold it!
I don't know yet. There's something that I haven't seen. No, none at all. So I spend my days on Fresno Street, peddling tidbits to passers-by. Hoping, just between us that is, that eventually someone else with lips like mine will come along. I don't think so. You may be right. Anyway, that mark on your neck is just too much of a coincidence for us to ignore. Well, what's a fellow to do then, eh? If you don't believe me, we're at an impasse. And there's nothing I can do but flick me lip. Looks like I'm not going to get anywhere here unless I can pursue some proof. You're basically saying I dressed up and posed as some fancy inspector, aren't you? Well, it's beyond me how you think I could do that. Wait. Look familiar? Look familiar, guys? Bubby just gonna be me and Mayu tonight. Alright, sounds good. Have fun together. I'm gonna save right here, and I'm gonna immediately present it. I've got the strong feeling.
Objection!
No! It wasn't that. Oh, fuck. Fuck me. Okay.
Hold it!
I'm gonna press this. Or maybe... Okay, well, I feel like... I feel like... That's the extent of their testimony. I have a feeling he's actually daily visual. All but impossible to hide those lips with any form of disguise. But what if the lips were the disguise? Wanna save again? I feel like... I feel like I could present this.
Objection!
No, it's not this either. God dang it, man. Maybe I'm going about it all wrong, and maybe I'm thinking too far ahead. Oh my god. Maybe I might just like straight up.
Objection!
I knew it. If you have no kinfolk, as you put it, then explain why it is among the sparse furnishings, we found this photograph in the room. Ah! I presume as you've been renting the room, that this photograph belongs to you, does it not? Oh, well... Mr. Boone, drop the pretense and tell the court exactly who you really are. I don't know what you mean. I'm a peddler. I keep telling you so. You really don't need to bother with me. Please, just leave it alone. As a man says, leave it alone. Whatever the truth is about this man's life, it has no bearing on this case. Because it's simply not possible that he impersonated Inspector Gregson.
Objection!
How can you be so sure? Just look at the man. No amount of disguise can ever hide those unmissable features.
Objection!
But what if we were to look at this the other way around? What do you mean? Sin, your name's changed! Yes, Seaweed, my name's changed! Yay! Yippee! I'm now just Sin BT! Yippee! Yes, Counsel, what do you mean? Well, there's no denying that the banner's still gonna stay synesthetic for a time being until I get money to like get a logo change. But right now, as of this moment, I'm Sin VT. Well, I mean, as of like last weekish, I'm Sin VT. Yippee! I'm so happy about it. How are you, Seaweed? I hope you're doing well. There's no denying that Mr. Boone's lip is very prominent indeed. But consider the possibility that his prominent lip itself is itself secret tunnel through the mountains. Secret tunnel. Yeah! That his prominent lip itself is itself part of an elaborate disguise. Then hiding that prominent feature, in other words, revealing his true face. God, that freaking knock. God it freaks me out. Even though I have nothing to be worried about, like having that knock in my ear scares me. Like, not scares me, but like jolts me. Revealing his true face would make an utterly impenetrable disguise. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Hugh Boone? Twists himself into a knot. Good. Witness, are you still hiding the truth from this court? If that's a disguise, then underneath it, his true identity must be... Yes, that's right. There's really only one person he could really be. My lord, the defense believes it can reveal Mr. Boone's true identity to the court. No! Please, no! Very well then, counsel. What is the true identity of this peddler, who goes simply by the name of Gossip on the street?
Take that!
Your real name is actually Mr. Vigil, isn't it? Mr. Daily Vigil? Yeah! I don't recall that name, counsel. Who is this Mr. Vigil? It's a name I encountered yesterday, my lord. It has to do with a certain client of Mr. Herlock Sholmes. A young gentlewoman came to the detective asking him to locate her missing husband. The woman in this photograph, in fact. This is Mrs. Vigil. What? From what I understand, you haven't returned home since the night before. The night before the inspector was found dead. But of course, on that night, you were being held captive by the two red-headed leaguemen. Last night, you were put up by the prosecution service in preparation for testifying in this trial. Because we've been led to believe that you, Miss Venus, and Mr. Sandwich, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, yes, exactly, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, detective extraordinaire, were all homeless. Being important witnesses in this case, we needed to know where we could find you. That explains why you've not only been unable to return home, but also unable to contact your wife, who's been beside herself with worry, waiting for you at the Vigil residence. Now, just you hold on a minute. What I'm talking about, really? It's a simple enough matter to confirm my suspicions. All we have to do is pull off that disguise. No, please. Bailiff, bring soap, a sponge, and a washbowl at once. Mr. De Rousseau and Mr. Rossi, you will restrain the witness. Do it again! Oui, my lord. See, my lord. Wait, hang on. Isn't he the guy who we did the case with in the first story? Yes. The white hair guy. The guy. Yes! That is Kazuma. Ah! No, stop! Get off, please! Don't! The lips just fall off. Well, you are now seeing your true features, I presume. So Kazuma, here's the recall. Kazuma in chapter 2 of the first story, quote unquote dies, on the ship, but in reality he suffers a coma and, well, not a slight coma and amnesia. And he runs off to England by himself, gets discovered by Lord Strongheart, and there's a reason for the outfit change. There's a very definite reason for the outfit change. He goes into he gets amnesia, runs off to England anyways, gets discovered by Lord Strongheart, is put on a disguise. Oh, yeah, I know I got to the ship part, then forgot the game existed. Don't worry. Pretend you're in a different timeline. Well, basically the timeline of this guy's life. And is put under a disguise to work under Barak Van Zieks, who is the prosecutor, the regular prosecutor for all the cases. This guy, and we revealed that Kazuma's father was the infamous Hound of the Baskervilles, or actually no, not Hound of the Baskervilles, but the professor who is a serial killer in the game, who killed like 5 nobles or something, and revealing that made Kazuma remember and hate Barak Van Zieks. And now Barak Van Zieks is being accused of murder, so Kazuma takes the position of the prosecutor role, and now we're the defendant. We're the defendant, or defending lawyers. It would appear that the defense counsel's assertion was entirely correct. This has all been a very elaborate deception. So, witnesses, tell the court, have you seen this man before? I don't believe it, but... See, there is no question. This is the inspector we saw in the park. Extraordinary! On the day of the Redhead League enrollment, the man claiming to be Inspector Gregson who appeared before Mr. De Rousseau and Mr. De Rossi in the park was you, disguised as the inspector, or rather, was you posing as the inspector in no disguise at all? Mr. Vigil was formerly employed as a chief warder at Barclay Pit Prison. Chief warder? Then your career had promise. Why? You would quite possibly have become the future governor of the prison. What on earth have you been doing peddling tittle-tattle on Fresno Street? Even the judge's wig almost flew off. That's a reoccurring thing, don't worry. That wig is hanging on by a strand, like a string. Like a literal string. Well, it's been 10 years since Mr. Vigil worked at the prison. 10 years. I'm I'm really dreadfully sorry about all of this. Yes, it's true. I'm Daily Vigil. You were chief warder at Barclay Prison 10 years ago. So where did Mr. Hugh Boone come from? Boone is the other me. It's a name I invented. Well, evidently there is a great deal under the surface here. I'll explain everything. I'll tell you just how wretched my life has become. I feel bad for him. It's not his fault that he's in this situation. Or should I say, shit-situation. As you say, it was 10 years ago now that my employment as Barclay's chief warder came to an end. Having left the prison service, I searched for some new occupation by which to earn a wage. But times were hard in London. I found no suitable engagements at all. In desperation one day, I turned my hand at selling wares on Fresno Street. But your wife appears to know nothing of this. She still maintains that you are the chief warder at Barclay Prison. I was utterly determined that my wife should not know about my failings, which is why I never told her. I opened an account at the bank under the name of Hugh Boone, and I rented the cheapest room I could find on Fresno Street. The scene of the very crime we're investigating. 10 years ago, he looks like 25. Oh, hello, Batman guy. I hope you're doing well. He looks like... How old is he right now? He's 40. He's 40. And Evie Vigil is 36. He's 40 right now. He looks like 25, but he's actually 40. God damn, he looks so young. A place from which I can emerge every morning at 8 as a squalid. Transform myself back every evening at 5 into a well-dressed man about town before returning home. That quickly became my daily routine. I was puzzled by the lack of furniture in the room. Holy shit, bro's gotta drop that skincare routine. I know, right? He exfoliates himself on the daily. Jesus Christ. And, well, like, moisturizes too. But that explains it. But why on earth didn't you just tell us this in the first place? I have a wife, sir, and 2 sons. And without wishing to sound self-conceited, they regard me with some pride. I couldn't bring myself to disappoint them. So instead, you decide to conceal your occupation from me. Yes. I made such a terrible mess of everything. Still, one thing doesn't add up. No matter how many tidbits of information you can sell to the passing gentleman, even at 6 pence apiece, you cannot hope to match the salary you must have commanded as chief warder of the prison. Very true. You have kept your family in comfort despite 10 years of somewhat misbegotten employment. That was all thanks to Inspector Gregson. What? Inspector Gregson? What on earth? It was some years after I've invented Boone and begun my other life as a street seller. He, the inspector that is, recognized me one day. Do you mean to say the victim was an acquaintance of yours? I knew him from my time working at the prison. Tidbits, I know. When he saw what I had become, he was deeply troubled for me and my family. And from that day forward, he visited me on Fresno Street with increasing regularity. Then one day, he asked me if I could carry out a secret assignment for him. A secret? What was it? I was to impersonate the inspector. What? Impersonate him? We always met in that little room so the inspector could brief me. Visit Orxie's tomorrow and take a statement from the proprietress. It was always something along those lines. Surveillance work, interviewing people. On those occasions, he would lend me his identification so people would believe who I was. My instructions were to make an impression, to let people know that Inspector Gregson had been at work. And for those services, he compensated me financially. hi! Hey, Ardix.
Scotland Yard, Inspector willingly relinquished his identification into your care with intent to deceive.
How you doing? I'm doing good. How are you?
That, as I'm sure I need not point out, is a very serious criminal offense. But why? What was the point of you impersonating him?
I truthfully do not know. All I can say is that the inspector warned me on numerous occasions.
Now remember, Vigil, I need your solemn word.
Wait, this is not Gregson's voice.
You doing good? That's good to hear. You don't blab about this to anyone, alright? Ever! Ever!
Where's my Gregson voice? My Gregson voice is gone!
Even if, well, if I end up a croaker.
In time, he started to bring papers with him to the room as well. It became something of a second officer. So, in fact, the person who declared himself to be Inspector Gregson at the park on Lime Street was really... Yes, it was me, acting on the inspector's orders. As usual, I removed my boon disguise, then went as instructed to the park, armed with the inspector's identification book. It never occurred to me that the bruise on my neck might give me away. Yeah, all this because of a bruise he got revealed. So much for a skincare routine. Would you believe it, Martix? This guy is 40 years old. Damn, he looks good. I know, right? What the heck? Maybe he's like secretly East Asian. Like he has secretly East Asian genetics, because you know, freaking. There's always a joke about and it's like mostly true. Like once you hit a part of your life, this to everyone else. Artix and I are East Asian, so we're making fun of ourselves. Like us East Asians, we have like a genetic thing where if we hit like a certain point in life, until we hit a certain point in life, we're gonna look super young. We're always gonna look young. And then as soon as we hit that point, we just rapidly like turn into an shriveled old person. Like shriveled prune, that's us. But once we hit that point. This confession completely destroys the defense's case. I want to grow a full Manchu.
Explain yourself, Prosecutor Asuki.
My learned friend's assertion was as follows. The victim was killed at another location on the day before his corpse was discovered. At the hands of these two red-headed leaguemen when they imprisoned the inspector. But no, that can't be. After all, it wasn't the inspector who went to the park that day, it was me. Oh goodness. Finally, we have clarity. We had nothing to do with the inspector. And merci, Monsieur de la Défense, for proving it. What? Wait, no, this is a good thing. The fact that we have daily vigil here. Don't be like that. Oh yeah, somewhat ironically, by the defense. No, this is a good thing. It's okay, this is an end to the cross-examination. Yeah, that's fine.
Hold it!
Wait, what? Kazuma? He's like, nah-ah! Pardon me, my lord, but with your permission, I would like to pose one further question to the witness. Kazuma?
What question, counsel?
It concerns the events of 10 years ago. I believe you would have been present at a very significant execution that was carried out at the time. 10 years ago.
The execution of the professor. Genshin Asuki.
That's Kazuma's father. I want to know exactly what your involvement was.
Oh!
Answer me, man.
One moment, counsel. Is this related to the current case?
I think so too. Naturally. I'm not your man, bro. I'm not your bro, pal. It is the prosecution's belief that this case and the events of 10 years ago are inextricably linked.
Does the defense concur, counsel?
Yes, we do!
You're not yourself. You're not as calm as collected as usual.
Poor Kazuma-sama. No wonder he's acting this way. Mr. Vigil's memories of what happened 10 years ago will tell the tale of Genshin Asoki's last moments. His own father. No, I do understand that, but even so... Prosecutor Asoki, do you genuinely believe that this question requires an answer in order to learn the truth behind Inspector Gregson's death? I need you to trust me. Please. Damn! Very well. Then the defense has no objection.
I see. In that case, you will answer the question with news.
Now we get to figure out. The truth is, I remember very little of that time. You've forgotten?! I'm sorry to say, yes. As I said, I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago. But for some peculiar reason, my memory of the events leading up to that moment is extremely hazy. Does that not strike you as strange, Mr. Naruhodo? Sorry? Well, 10 years is a long time. But to have forgotten the reason why you left such an important job. Yes, you're right. And not only that, Mr. Vigil's claim contradicts what we already know. The human spirit is a fragile thing, broken all too easily. Which is why we have a tendency to wrap it up for protection. Hi, NB. Sorry? The human spirit? I'm afraid I'll understand what you mean. When we experience pain and suffering that we feel unable to bear, we block it out, obliterate it from our memories, away, but it never truly leaves us. If the seal is broken, the memories resurface. And when they do, that fragile spirit may finally be crushed. What? But I really don't... Kazuma-sama. But if it must be crushed, then so be it. Because the truth will not stay buried. It's coming out one way or another. I really like the Kazuma's theme song. It's like distinctly Japanese. It's really nice. It means to expose the truth at any cost. Perhaps, if I pointed out the contradiction in what Mr. Vigil claimed earlier, might cause some crucial memories to return to me. Should I? Should I present the evidence or not? We do it! We doing it! I have no idea how this is going to go, but this is a court of law, and I have a duty to pursue the truth. Mr. Vigil, I'd like you to look at this. Evidence that clearly contradicts your version of events. I'm gonna save, but I know the answer.
Take that!
Just a few moments ago, you made the following statement. I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago. Well, yes. In other words, you claim to have left the post of chief warder of your own volition. Well, yes, of course. Why? Tell me. Do you remember seeing this document before? No, I don't. This is a dismissal notice ordering the immediate termination of a prison staff member's employment. A dismissal notice? And the name on the notice is yours, Mr. Vigil. What? What? It's mine? So you didn't resign from the prison at all. For some reason, you were dismissed as chief warder from Barclay. No, there's been some mistake. I'm sure I tendered my resignation. This dismissal notice is nonsense. Isn't it? If you were forcibly dismissed, there must have been good reason. Clearly, you did something. Mr. Vigil, it's time to break the seal and have you remember. According to the few remaining records, the final execution that you supervised was on 17th June, 10 years ago. And on that day, something very serious took place at Barclay Prison. 17th of June. Was that the professor's execution? Sitting as my hubby? Mwah. Professor, as you were the chief warder at the time, it stands to reason that you would have been present throughout the proceedings. JK, unless... It does sound familiar. And yet, that execution never took place. The convict ostensibly executed earlier that day later re-emerged from his grave. The convict came back to life. In the cemetery in the middle of the night, there was a witness. However, the witness claims that a moment after he saw the convict clambering out of his grave, a gunshot rang out from over his shoulder. And the bullet pierced the professor's chest, killing him instantly. Those may have been the professor's actual last moments. Yes! Seeing as you were in charge of overseeing executions at the time, you must know the truth about what really happened. It's in your head, somewhere deep down. Well, Chief Warder Daily Vigil, I know there are memories in your head that can explain what happened on 17th June 10 years ago. And now it's time for you to drag them up. Akira! I'm sorry. His head him clutching his head was the first thing made me think of that scene immediately. Ding! Akira! Leave me alone! Mr. Vigil? I'm gonna that was someone mentioned that during one of these trials a while back, and then the first thing that happened was them referencing that, and now it's stuck in my head. Yes, the whole prison, it was complete chaos. The prisoner escaped. He was killed in the cemetery. The shocking news ripped through Barclay like a hurricane. What? Do you mean to say, Mr. Vigil, that your memories of the time has returned? My head, it's like some floodgates. Images. Goodness. There were reports, articles about a man who's seen a ghost. Yes, Enoch Drebber. But surely those reports were exaggerated. There were traces at the scene. Traces of what? In Lowgate Cemetery, at plot number 139. Blood. Lots of blood. That's where the man was buried, of course. Obviously, something terrible had happened. There's a conspiracy into private information. Quite staggering. I reviewed the police records from that time extensively. A thorough investigation was conducted by Scotland Yard to ascertain how the convict managed to escape in the first place. The conclusion reached by the investigating team was that a member of the prison staff must have been involved.
Are you suggesting that prison warden abetted the man's bid for freedom?
Yes.
Yes, and I was suspected of doing it. Of using that mass murderer's execution as a way to help him escape.
You did what?
I remember now, the horror of it all coming back to me. One evening, a few days after the execution, some detectives came to the prison. I was called to the governor's office at the top of the watchtower.
I'm sorry, dude. This is a serious business. I cannot. Oh wait, this is Scottish. I'm sorry, Daddy. This is a serious business, but I cannot help you. No. As chief warder, you were responsible for overseeing the execution of her, eh? Well, it seems the fellows at Scotland Yard want to have a few words with you about it. You'd better pack your things, laddie. We're going to intend in person.
As soon as he told me that, my mind just went completely blank. And the next thing I knew, Professor, the most hated killer in our country's history. And I let him escape. I'm finished. My life is over.
Ah! I'm not gonna ruin my throat for that. Oh god, he fainted. He like... Posture check. Hey, I'm not the one who fainted here, okay?
Court is adjourned for today with immediate effect.
So, with Mr. Vigil's collapse, proceedings came to an abrupt
You know what? That's
end
how
for the day.
that's how I want to imagine he screamed now.
Once again overshadowed by the legacy
scream
of
that high.
that notorious killer, appearing like a cursed ghost ship on a foggy ocean. Lord Van Zeeks, Mr. Vigil, Kazuma, and Gregson. All of them bound by invisible chains anchored to the same wreckage in the murky depths of the past. But the miraculous light that had been trying to cut through the gloom and shine on those tragic events was playing on the edges of the truth at last.
So, everything is connected. Everything is connected. I believe...
Watch my knife and let me go back.
Thank you so much for the hydrate redeem. You know, if you have 7TV, the emote extension, we have way more emotes. If you press the 7TV emote button, there should be a lot more emotes that I've added. I have added like 100 emotes to the list, so there should be like 300-ish 7TV emotes. I still can't quite believe what just happened. I know. I inquired with the bailiff after the court session was adjourned, and it seemed Mr. Vigil was taken to hospital to recover. 10 years ago now, Mr. Vigil attempted to commit suicide by jumping out of the window of the prison governor's office. But ever since then, he's completely blocked the memory of those events from his mind. Nobody knew his secret. Not his family, not even the man himself. But I forced it out into the open. Was it wrong of me to do that? Did I overstep the mark, I wonder? I have to look right to the OBS screen to figure out what's being said because my cat's right in front of me. Unbe's right in front of me, covering the screen, the bottom half of the screen, which has all the text. And she's not apologetic about it. She was like, "Yes, scritch me more."
Oh, Iris. You were miles away. Anyway, I'm here to fetch great acid. Oh, speaking of great acids, we're gonna be playing Lethal Company this Saturday. Oh, thank you. You and Susie had an exhausting day so far, haven't you? Oh. Ow! Ow! I forgot that O was also an emote. Hello, Bread! Thank you, Iris. How thoughtful of you. How are you, Bread? You happen to know where Mr. Sholmes is? When we came out of the courtroom back into the defendant's antechamber, he disappeared. How unexpected and how stale is the bread? Enough to make breadcrumbs. You're doing pretty okay? That's good to hear. Oh, no, I don't know. He just suddenly sprang to his feet and left. All he said was, I must leave. Very true. Wait, I wonder if he's pursuing the mystery of Inspector Gregson's death.
We pray at night, we stalk at night.
Well, you know what Reddy's always saying, don't you?
I'm the giant rat that
There-
makes all
of the rules. Let's see what kind of trouble we can get ourselves into. There are mysteries in this world that should perhaps never be solved. Or the construction of a solution comes only at the expense of the destruction of something else. What does that mean? He knows very well that when you open someone else's old wounds, you often open your own too. But he just can't take his own advice and leave well alone. Solving mysteries is too important to him. So true. But that's what I like about Hurley, after all. I suppose that's the lot of a great detective in some ways. Also, you're doing pretty okay. That's good, that's good. How was your April Fool's? Did you get pranked by anything? I got pranked. I got pranked by the... If you check my Discord, if you go to my Discord down below, there's a link to the Discord. We have a channel called Free Games. Oh, I'm scrolling down on Discord and it's like immediately changing the stuff, dialogue. There's a bot that lets you know if there's free games out, like normally paid games that are free to keep. And the free games bot posted a link that was like, hey, you can get Pal World for free today. And I thought since it was just a bot, I was like, oh, it's not a prank. I click it. I got fucking rickrolled. I got fucking rickrolled, man! I can't believe it! In 2024! Let's have tea and then I'll give you a hand. Oh, do you have time, Iris? Yes, I finished this month's manuscript at last, with barely a day to spare before the deadline. Oh, I'm so looking forward to it. A brand new story to read in the adventures of Sherlock Holmes. I use the same link to rickroll someone else too, which is incredibly satisfying. That's good. I'm glad to hear that you've also rickrolled someone else. You know, I always hide Hurley's violin in the days before I have a deadline. Poor Mr. Sholmes. I'm sure that's very wise, Iris. How sensible of you. Now then, my dear fellows, let's make a plan of action before we continue our investigation. I think you told me that too. So, how did it go in court this morning? Well, we still don't know the truth about what really happened, but one thing's increasingly clear. Lord Van Zieks definitely didn't do it. Oh, goody! Yes, that's right. By the way, so round of applause for saying, yes, I took the bullet and then I pasted, I explained exactly what happens if you click the link. So I took the bullet for the community. Oh, really? And there was another development too. Yes, it's quite clear now that Kazuma-sama is not himself. The way he's acting, it's almost as if he's possessed. I know. I mean, at the end of the proceedings earlier, he was like a bloodhound in the way he was chasing down Mr. Vigil's forgotten class. Like the Hound of Baskervilles? Dun dun dun! He's not normally so mercilessly persistent. What's going on in his head, I wonder? I really need to sit down with Kazuma. Try to understand what he's going through. If Gregson was really murdered the day before his body was discovered, then Lord Van Zieks has to be innocent, you see. What? The day before? Well, that should be easy enough to work out. Just by examining the corpse, surely. Yes, you would expect so, but curiously, no time of death was included in the autopsy report. That is curious. There's still unanswered questions about Lord Van Zieks, aren't there? Do you mean... I mean, what was he doing there on Fresno Street that day in the first place? Well, according to the man's testimony, he said he was investigating Inspector Gregson, didn't he? And it turns out that little room is actually the inspector's secret office. Oh, that sounds like it has all the makings of a wonderfully devilish plot. But then, why was that notice board in there covered in all those particular papers? Papers about cases with the link to the Reaper. I'm starting to get a bad feeling about this. Oh dear, that sounds more like something horribly devilish. We must start by looking into Inspector Gregson's movements of late. Alright, I never imagined I might have to be investigating an inspector's movements. According to the entry in his diary, he was carrying out an incognito investigation of the Red-Headed League the day before his death. Oh, you mean he was doing the same as Hurley? Well, Mr. Sholmes was trying to apply, whereas the inspector was supposed to be investigating. I do wish it had been the other way around. Anyway, as it turns out, the inspector who went to investigate the Red-Headed League that day wasn't actually Gregson at all. It was Mr. Vigil, in possession of Gregson's identification. You know what that sounds like to me? Establishing an alibi. Oh my. Yes, you're absolutely right, Iris. But why would Gregson need an alibi? It would appear that the inspector had something to do that he wished to keep secret. I don't believe it. I always thought he was just the harmless lover of fish and chips. Perhaps they were seasoned with something a little more potent than salt and vinegar. I think perhaps we should try to move away from food analogies. Well, anyway, if Lord Van Zieks felt the need to investigate Gregson, yes, I agree. We must try to find out what he knows. Alright, how's Mr. Vigil? Vigil, you say? Isn't that the name of the lady who came to visit Hurley yesterday? That's right, to ask Mr. Sholmes if he would help her to find her missing husband. Only Mr. Sholmes put completely basketball to us. Actually, didn't you say that Mr. Vigil had been taken to the hospital? Do you know which one? With the taste of murder! How could he do that to those fish and chips? And Saint Sinners. Oh, right, Saint Sinners. Aha! Now that I'm Sin VT, it's more towards my name. I'm starting to wonder if all the other hospitals in London have closed down. It's because it's always been Saint Sinners. But that's amazing, Runo. You found the lady's husband already. Well, I suppose I have. By accident. And 10 years ago, while Mr. Vigil was chief warder at the prison, he was responsible for overseeing the professor's incarceration. No! So when the convict escaped, he was held responsible and immediately dismissed. Sometimes I really don't want to grow up. There's more. For 10 years after that, while he was ostensibly working as a peddler, he also had another secret job. He was paid by Gregson to be his stand-in, to impersonate the inspector. To impersonate Gregsy? But why? I have absolutely no idea. Ginny was right. I'm starting to think all adults are up to no good now. Including you, Runo. What? What? I haven't paid anyone to impersonate me. That That means he has ties to the professor and to Inspector Gregson. So I do think he ought to pay a visit. We ought to pay a visit to Mr. Vigil, don't you? Back to St. Sinner's then. Well, I think it's clear what we need to do, isn't it? Let us investigate, my dear fellows. Oh, Iris, you're even more enthusiastic than usual today. If anyone has anything to hide, my special Wilson shooting iron will soon set them straight. That water pistol? It's stuffed full of a piping hot extra special blend of mine. And I'm quite sure it will be very effective. Dude, she's gonna spray hot sauce, man. Dude, imagine a water gun, but it's actually just hot sauce. Bringing a hot sauce gun to the water gun fight. Sheesh. Okay, let us go to... You can go to this Mr. Vigil's hospital, Brad. Well, I want to pepper spray at that point. Is it, though? I think if instead we just fill it full of pepper oil, that'd be more like pepper spray, no? What do you Nipponese want? That's no way to greet the lawyer who's trying to hit his hardest to prove you're innocent, is it? Hey, don't act conceited. Perhaps not. Hmm? I apologize. So, what can I do for you, Mr. Knuckle? Lord Van Zeeks, you earnestly. Oh, the fog will lift over London for the first time in months tomorrow. I'll be back. Alright, this does feel very, very strange. Just talk! I must say, I was impressed. Oh, well, thank you. Not by you, by your fellow Nipponese. Your prosecutor. Oh, I see, yes. It's sardonic, don't you think? For a man such as me, so loathing of Nipponese, to be entirely at the mercy of you. I suppose it's retribution for having played the part of the Reaper at all these years. Played the part. You once told me that you gladly allowed people to believe you were the Reaper, because it helped reduce the amount of serious crime that took place in London. Keeping quiet and playing the part benefits the cause, a cause I myself am committed to pursuing. Then why would I choose to say anything? But the henchman of the criminal killed by the Reaper attacked you only the other day. That was just the most recent of many attempts on your life, wasn't it? Someone is clearly profiting from your silence about all this. Someone is using you. Believe me, ever since the Reaper first appeared, I've been doing my utmost to expose you. Rather, expose the organization. Organization? The whole organization? It's inconceivable that all those accidents are orchestrated by one man. No, the Reaper always appears to have very accurate information about the accused in each case. Which can only mean that somebody at Scotland Yard is involved. Someone at... You can't mean... It's taken me many years, but I finally identified the central figure in this Reaper organization. Tobias Gregson. No. No! Gregson, the Reaper? Oh, fuck. So, the reason you were investigating Inspector Gregson is because you intended to expose him as the Reaper? As I said, Reaper of the Bailey is no secret. It's a highly secret organization for Scotland Yard. There's no doubt Gregson is a key member of that organization. I can't believe it. Are you saying that that he was behind all those awful criminals, meaning they're... Gregson didn't do the dirty work himself. Oh. He was a detective. His job was to covertly investigate the marks, plot their
assassinations. But to do that without arousing suspicion, he regularly needed a firm alibi. Where Mr. Vigil came from, posing as the inspector. Vigil knows nothing of the Reaper, but the room he rents on Fresno Street is almost certainly the headquarters of the operation. Gregson would have met the assassin there for briefings. We don't actually know who carried out the killings of him. Actually, we do have a name. What? Well, if you can name the man, you have the true identity of the Reaper already then. Or, if I can name the woman. Oh. She's a young woman by the name of Asa Shin. Wait, what? Shin! A Miss Asa Shin. Assassin. True name of a terrifying killer I know only too well. She came to Japan posing as a visiting student and murdered Dr. John H. Wilson. Then, just when it seemed that diplomatic protection would help her escape Japan and conviction, a mysterious woman herself was murdered in a small summer beach hut. That woman was actually the Reaper of the Bailey? Mr. Naruhodo, this perhaps isn't the place to discuss. No, of course not. I can't mention it here. The fact that she killed Dr. John H. Wilson, because Iris doesn't know, and it's very likely that the man was her father. Asashin. I should let father know at once. Yes, I agree. Kazuma, isn't it? Kazuma Asuka. You say he's a friend of yours. My best friend. He's the whole reason I got to come to Britain. It was all on his merits. I have nothing but respect for him. Yes, I understand that only the very best students are selected for such opportunities. I had a fine demonstration of how sharp he is in his frivolous day. He missed nothing. In fact, his flawless performance very much reminded me of his father. Agent Asuka, Professor. It's true that the aristocracy at the time was the root of numerous grave societal problems. They were abusing their power, playing with the common man as pawns in politics, in economics, and war. In many ways, Asuka was carving out a society that we British couldn't do ourselves. I see. That's precisely why it makes no sense. Van Zeeks was a noble and upstanding man. He wasn't corrupt. Why did that damn Japanese have to go and take my brother's life? In spite of having once saved mine. You saved your life? How did that happen? It was 10 years ago, on a foggy night, what was to be the professor's final strike had sent a wave of panic through the capital. Clint Van Zeeks had already been killed at this point. Agent and I were walking down some back streets at a late hour. Of course, at that point, I had no idea of the true nature of the man at my side. All of a sudden... Oh, hi, Dunby. It's one... Don't make a peep. You're coming with us. We were surrounded. All of our assailants were armed with pistols, their faces obscured by scarves. It was not only for noble heritage, but brilliant prosperity. The scum of London hated the sight of him. They had no sympathy for his younger brother either. I had been targeted several times before already. Yeah, it's Van Zeeks alright. We got him! I could hear them murmuring amongst themselves. I knew they were after me, just when I thought my time had come. If I let them kill you, Clint would never forgive me. It was Asuka's face. Still whispered in my ear. After that, I don't remember exactly what happened. The next thing I knew, there was a silence all around. Genshin lay on the cobbled street. Blood was seeping from his left hand. He shielded me. 2 days later, they arrested him. suspicion of being London's most notorious mass murderer ever. Professor. Awful for me. Once, lost a brother I revered, and a foreign friend I held in such high regard. I'm sorry, Lord Van Zeeks. That's the end of my miserable tale. I never thought I'd recount it to anyone. Oh, thank you for confiding in me. The Professor, the Reaper, and Spencer Gregson. I wonder just how intimately related they all are. I still can't quite believe that Gregson was essentially the Reaper, giving assassination orders to Giselle Brett. Mr. Naruhodo, let's go and inform my father. I'm sure our government will want to hear about this new information. Oh, that means I get to meet your daddy, Susie! Hooray! Alright, let's head back to the Great Waterloo Hotel. Well, before we do that, I want to talk to Mr. Daly. War 3. War 3. Alright. Donde está Mr. Daly? I mean, he's not here, so I don't think there's any point of investigating anything. Okay, full move. Ah, fuck. I thought it yesterday, and I think it again today. This place is so princely. It's a wild guess, but I have a feeling you'll think the same tomorrow too. My tea has a finer fragrance than whatever they're serving in the tea room here, though. Wouldn't you say? Ah, look who we have here. This is an unexpected pleasure. Ah, Father. Oh, is this your daddy, Susie? How lovely. What a charming young lady. You are... Ah, really? So you're the author of the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, are you? That's me, Iris Wilson, at your service, sir. Susie's been such a wonderful friend to me over the last year, you know. Well, Mr. Wilson, well, Miss Wilson, I must say I read your work regularly. Much interest. Iris actually lives with Mr. Sholmes, you know, Father. Is that so? Well, perhaps that goes some way to explaining that bright look in your eyes. You wouldn't be smiling so airily if you knew just how bright she is, believe me. Now then, young Naruhodo, it was a pleasure seeing you in action here. As an invitee of the symposium, I was allowed to observe from the gallery. After I twisted some arms, I must say, it was a truly exemplary performance. Oh, well, thank you very much. Although I'm fairly sure you omitted by Kazuma on the end there. No, please don't misunderstand. It was you who impressed me. Really? Didn't miss a step against Asobe. We all know how capable he is. Really, to have matured into such a fine defense lawyer in less than a year is quite extraordinary. It's very kind of you to say so. And really nice to hear. What I saw in court today confirmed what I'd been hoping for. The favor I mentioned yesterday, Naruhodo. I trust you haven't forgotten. Oh, no, you did mention something, didn't you? But first, we have something to report, Father. Of course. Shall we take tea while we discuss matters further? I wonder where Judge Chigoku has got to. Wait, you know, whenever I hear Chigoku, I think of Jingoku, which means hell, I believe, right? Father, do you know about the so-called Reaper of the Veil? I've heard rumors. Some members of the judiciary explained it all to me yesterday. Of course, when I was a visiting student here in London, the Reaper was yet to emerge. Right, he didn't appear until after that case. When the visiting students had already returned home. Lord Van Zeeks was in the dock today. That was Barrow, the younger brother of Clint Van Zeeks. Names in this game usually have meanings and things, so that might mean something. Probably. And he's known throughout, or maybe like it's a reference to something else. Jigoku. Oh, Jigoku actually means hell. I was wrong. It wasn't Jingoku. Jigoku literally means hell. Jigoku. Seishiro Jigoku? Let's look at the trivia. Usually or development. Name. His Japanese surname, which uses a kanji for mercy and prison, perhaps alluding to his profession as a judge. When written as this, Jigoku means hell. It just means judge. It just means judge in the actual writing, but in pronunciation, it sounds like hell. There's no trivia for it. Seishiro, which means government, and samurai together, which means like he has ties to the Japanese government. Lamau. It wasn't him behind all of those mysterious deaths. It was somebody else. I feel like you shouldn't reveal any of those. See, what you're saying is there's been a professional killer at work here. Exactly. Someone by the name of Asashin. Get it? Assassin? Asashin? I beg your pardon? Did you say Asashin? You mean that Giselle Brett woman who was responsible for killing my great friend? Oh no! Oh fuck! A friend of yours was killed? Professor Mikotova, I think perhaps we shouldn't discuss this right now. Because the friend professor is talking about Dr. John H. Wilson. And that's not something we want Iris to find out. Not like this, anyway. Oh, even then, we're just gonna straight up talk about it. I've just remembered something. Biscuits! This hotel has the most delicious looking biscuits. That was rather out of blue. She's doing this deliberately. I think I'll go and see if I can purchase some. I wonder, would you like to come too, Iris? Oh yes! You just try to leave me behind. By the way, Naruhodo means, the main character, Yunosuke Naruhodo, is the great ancestor of Phoenix Wright, and Phoenix Wright's surname is also Naruhodo, which means I understand, or understanding in Japanese. So that young girl, called Iris Wilson, is she? Yes, that's right. She's the author of all those adventure stories starring the great Detective Schultz. But the name of the credited author isn't Iris, is it? Dr. John H. Wilson. Yes, I know. That's the name of her father, you see. Her father! Wait, what did you say? So the main character, Yunosuke Naruhodo, is the great ancestor for Phoenix Wright, whose surname in Japanese is also Naruhodo. And Naruhodo means understand, or like when people say Naruhodo, it means like I understand. So, you know, names. I was deeply indebted to the man for all the kindness he showed me during my time in London. That's why I was keen to reciprocate and invite him to the Imperial Yume University 4 years ago. But he was murdered last year by Giselle Brett. Why? Why would the hand of the Reaper stretch all the way to Japan? Iris knows nothing about the case, but it seems very likely that the victim, Dr. Wilson, was her father. Well, can't say that we ever spoke about his family. I don't know if he had a daughter or not, but I think I can say with some certainty he was never the great detective's partner. So, he could have been another Dr. Wilson, you think? Well,
John and Wilson are both common names, after all. Still, it's probably best not to mention this young lady until we can be sure. That's what we thought, yes. We're back! With cinnamon biscuits. Oh man, cinnamon biscuits sounds delicious. Oh, ooh, they smell delicious, Iris. I think cinnamon will go very well with the tea they serve here, don't you, Susie? Yes, I'm sure you're right, Iris. I haven't seen Judge Chikoku for a while, have you? Guilty! Ha 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 ha! That guilty is still ringing in my ears. No, now you mention it, I haven't seen him since this morning either. Suppose since the symposium's opening was postponed, he'll have gone to explore at the great exhibition. That reminds me of something you mentioned yesterday. Remember, Thunder? About Judge Jigoku having once been in the dock himself. Ah, yes. It was all tied up with that accursed trial. Whose trial? Of Kazuma's father. Seishiro was trying to mitigate Genshin's guilt, so he took to the stand to testify. But he got a little carried away and, actually managed to break the witness stand. Oh my! He also said something contemptuous word about the British Empire, for which he was charged. Oh dear. Well, it's worryingly easy to imagine him doing. Well, it was all right in the end. He was acquitted and we returned home to Japan. Thank goodness. Yes, talking of Seishiro. I have a copy of the photograph we all took together here yesterday. Please. Oh, what a lovely picture. It certainly seems to shout, we've arrived in Britain. The commemorative photograph has been entered into a court record. I'm sure it's gonna be important, because it's entered into the court record. None of us had any idea what was coming when we took the bath, did we? Hello, Mr. Seishiro Jigoku. No, that's not true. Of course, something has to happen. So, you mentioned a favor that you'd like to ask me. Well, this fateful trial that you're fighting, one way or another, it will be over before long. And when it is, I'd like you to accompany me back to Japan. You want me to do... What? What? Father! What is the meaning of this? Now, Susato, you should understand. You've seen how our courts work firsthand. Japan's judicial system is in its infancy, especially when it comes to defense. Oh, you mean... I feel like it's still like that today, no? Japan's legal system is kind of favored towards the government, no? The Supreme Court of Judicature is in desperate need of a good defense. As soon as possible. Really quite urgently, in fact. But I've not even been in London a year yet. I've read all of Susato's reports. I'm well aware of your extraordinary talents. Having seen you in action with my own eyes earlier today, there's no question. You, Naruhodo, are precisely the man our country needs. Dude, that's such a legacy. If you're like, oh yeah, my great ancestor started the revolution for the defense lawyers. So you'd be leaving them now. Then, what am I supposed to do, Father? Came here to serve as Asugi's judicial assistant. Oh, yes. She's supposed to be Kazuma's assistant. Our government's still in the process of deciding how best to deal with his situation. You've always chosen your own path, Susato, and I trust your judgment. This matter also. Father! Please, the pair of you, don't look so downcast. It's merely a suggestion. Oh, you know, I invented lawsuits. Oh, jeez. I not lawsuits. I was like, I invented the not guilty verdict. All I ask is that you consider it and come to a decision by the time this trial concludes. Yes. All right. I honestly expected to see more of Hosonaga.
Apparently not. You won't leave, will you, Runa? Thought hadn't even crossed my mind. Up until now, I've just been trying to do what I believe to be Kazuma's will. But it turns out that he's still alive, so where does that leave me? Well, if you excuse me now, I need to telegram government ministers and Japanese police with this information about Asashin. Of course, father. Oh, shoot. I accidentally, lightly kicked my cat. What are you doing down here? What are you doing? What are you doing with the wires? Stop it. I look forward to next month's installment, Miss Wilson. Oh, good, and please do come to Baker Street, won't you? We'd love to entertain you. I would be delighted. Best of luck for tomorrow, Naruhodo. And give my suggestion to your full consideration, won't you? Yes, I will. You know, Kazuma-sama has always meant a great deal to my father. I'm sure he'd love the chance to meet with him and talk to him about all of this. Yes, no doubt. Welcome back, Artix. Sashin. Of course, it's so obvious. How could I have neglected to consider the possibility before now? Ah, Mr. Sholmes! Oh, so I got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes? Oh no, I'm sorry. Oh god. How are you taking it? Riley, where have you been? I joined you all for tea, of course. An extraordinary question. I didn't notice you at all. No matter. Anyway, to more pressing concerns, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, yes? I must dispatch a telegram to your country at once. It is a matter of much urgency. To Japan, you mean? Tell me, to whom can I entrust the task? Quickly now, who? Oh, to be fair, I had a terrible diet. Me too. I actually got informed by my doctor that that my cholesterol's a little bit high, and my urine test is all over the charts. All over the charts right now. All wonky. I think it's because I ate not in time. I think it's because I had food before I went to the blood test. But I swear I could have I thought it was like before the time. I thought it was before the time I was supposed to eat. But maybe it wasn't. See. Well, he looks reliable enough for a bearded fellow. I don't think that what father's horse could be considered a beard, Mr. Schultz. Not a moment to waste. Kindly ask your trusty unshaven father to see this is sent. I will, but what is it? No questions at this time, if you please, Mrs. Sato. I hear him shuffling around. All you can do is pray that for once my deduction is awry. Doesn't that imply your deductions are all normally correct, Mr. Schultz? Which isn't exactly. Now then! You may be surprised to learn that I'm a very busy man. Oh, hi, Envy! What are you doing? Oh, she went to go, got me this fruit tart. Though, that had few sugars for my birthday present. That instead of a cake. Right, yesterday was your birthday. Happy belated birthday, Artix. You know, that's good that you got me, that you got something with low sugar, you know? Or few sugar. So that's what joining us for Team X. Leave the sending of this in your hands. Fellows. Well, that means we can look at it, right? Wait a minute, Mr. Sholmes! He just sort of ran off, didn't he? At quite a pace. He left the unpaid bill for his tea behind, too. God dang it! He dined and dashed on us! I must catch up with father at the telegraph office. At once. Now run and call us a cab. Straight away. Well, I'm alone, and there was me thinking everyone would be clamoring to pay Mr. Jones's bill. Imagine they won't let me leave before I pay the bill. Okay. Let's go back to the hospital bed, see if there's anything new. There is. Also, hello, Dandy. This is the ward where Mr. Visual was brought, apparently. To be frank, I'm a little worried about seeing him again. Ah, the lawyer. Hello. Are you feeling better now, Mr. Vigil? Yes, thank you. Somewhat better. So sorry to have caused you to... It was because of me. If I hadn't exposed your secret and forced you to remember things you'd obviously tried to forget. The prosecutor was here until a few moments ago. We just missed it. Oh, Cosmo beat us to it. He said much the same as you. He was very apologetic. But the truth is, I brought all this upon myself. Please, don't think like that. Keeping you from having a wife all these years. I carried such a sense of guilt. But that's not the worst of it. Over time, I obviously came to deceive myself as well. You mean about your dismissal? Looking back now, I'm beginning to think that perhaps Inspector Gregson didn't stumble across me by accident at all. He compensated me so generously for acting as his friend. He was clearly concerned for my well-being and doing what he could to help me. Perhaps Gregson knew exactly what had become Mr. Vigil all along then. Dumby. Both of my cats are running wild. What the heck are you guys doing? Sure, this is just desserts. Isn't it supposed to be just desserts with double S? For 10 years of lies and deception. It wasn't me that helped the professor escape 10 years ago. It wasn't me. I swear it. I swear it's true. Oh, Mr. Vigil. I'm sure you'd rather not dredge up even more from your past lives. But, if possible, could you tell us exactly what really happened? I want to. I need to get all this off my chest. I just want someone to tell me what I should have done. Okay, I'm in bed and I am back. Welcome back, Bread. Inspector Gregson was obviously engaged in a special operation of some sort. He was investigating something that even Scotland Yard couldn't know about. What did I miss? Nothing. Really? Details of the Reaper's marks. Sherlock Holmes remembered something and hoped that his investigation was wrong, and then told what's her face? Susato to send a telegram. We find out that Asashin... What are you doing, cat? What are you making noises about? Specified location and make a little hoo-ha. Just something to leave an impression, so everyone there would think a detective called Gregson was here. So, that's what you were doing on the day prior to the incident? Yes, he asked me to make an appearance at the park on March Street for the Red-Headed League event. So as usual, I flashed the inspector's identification round and was very vocal about my presence. But then you were taken prisoner by those red-headed fraudsters. Yes, so you would always make a point of showing Gregson's identification generally being loud. That's what the inspector asked me to do, yes. That's one way of becoming a legendary detective, I suppose. Not a good one, though. And as you know, I suffered this bruising around my neck at their hands. But the following day, they kept up their word and released me. Without returning the inspector's identification to me, however. We had arranged to meet in the Fresno store at 5 that day, so I could report back to the inspector. But at the agreed time, that's when I heard the gunshot. Wait, but it wasn't a gunshot. It was at midnight on 17th June, 10 years ago. That was the time scheduled for the execution. The professor's execution never actually took place, did it? Rather, the execution itself must have been used to effect the plan of escape. I hardly dare to imagine what a chilling plan it was. Barclay was renowned for being the high security of the country. Everything that went in and out of the place was secured multiple times. But there was one notable exception. Rather, one notable loophole that was never questioned. What that coffins into which the bodies of the executed convicts were placed. Once the coroner had confirmed the death of the condemned, the body was taken in its coffin for immediate burial in the local cemetery, just behind the coffin. Chief Warder first had to sign the necessary papers. And after that, no member of staff was permitted to touch the coffin containing the body again. When executions took place, only the executioner could perform inside the chamber. He would wait for the adjacent room for the victim's death. On that occasion, once I had the confirmation, I went into the mortuary to find a lone coffin as usual. The procedure was that I would sign the paper, check the coffin, nail it shut. But for some reason that day, the coffin was already nailed shut. No! I didn't think anything of it at the time. I assumed that my deputy must have checked the coffin and nailed it shut before I left. So, maybe the coffin contained... Yes, I can only imagine that Asuka, having escaped his execution site, was alive inside the coffin. The coffin was then taken out through the main gates and deposited in Logan Cemetery. Presumably, there would have been air inside the building. But the early hours following the burial, somebody dug up the coffin and set Genshin free. Then I swear I'm going to put on your streams instead of my podcast now in the mornings. I never thought Phoenix Wright could be even more interesting. Yes, I love Phoenix Wright. It's so great. He was fatally shot in the graveyard anyway. What on earth really happened in Logan Cemetery that night, I wonder? You got it? Oh yeah, you got it. Congrats. Stop. I'm afraid I really... Ah! Why? All I can say with certainty are two things. Atsugi couldn't possibly have escaped that way without help from somebody working with him. That somebody is not me. Obviously, you knew the man then. The professor, I mean. Genshin Asugi. Yes, I remember him well, in fact. Would you mind telling us what you know? Well, having been condemned to death as he was, any contact I had with the man was short. After that trial, which was carried out behind closed doors, not only by elite members of the judiciary. By the way, what's with his weird hand gestures? Everyone has weird hand gestures. They called for his execution to be carried out at the earliest possible opportunity. The outcome of the trial was set from the beginning. It was a time of delicate diplomacy with Britain and Japan, of signing an important treaty. That meant that this potentially destabilizing case had to be dealt with swiftly and discreetly. They, like most of them, have weird hand gestures. As I was Chief Wiles short stay in the cells until his final hour, I remember being struck deeply by his noble character and incredible resilience. So his is just cause he was built different, I get it. Yeah, exactly. What do you mean exactly? He was a killer of many men, but he was always quiet. He was a gentleman, a man of intellect. In fact, I couldn't bring myself to believe what he'd done, so I asked him one day. Those 5 members of the aristocracy whose lives were taken, are you really responsible? I'm guilty of the unforgivable crime of ending another human's life, yes. I love the O emote so much, it's so great. I would hope that so many people would accidentally stumble upon other emotes, so I've changed some emotes to be I changed some words to be emotes instead. It's great. Those trials took place. The verdict was no surprise. Guilty. That night, he was brought back to the cell. I saw something. Something unusual. Something unusual? What? The last will and testament of Genshin Asugi. As I said, on the night following his trial, he guilty. Doing the rounds of the cells, and when I looked into Asugi's, I noticed that he seemed to have a sheet of paper in his hand. Less than I noticed very much shoved it in his back. But why did you find that so unusual? Isn't it normal for a man to pen a will when he knows his death? That's true. There were special conditions with Asugi's illustrations. Sort of conditions. Oh, though he was held in a cell designed for condemned inmates, he was allowed to keep his personal effects with one exception. Really? The loudest things. Oh, Sin, you should play along. To play Pong, it's hype and laugh every time I say oh. It's great. Of course, he'd been convicted of killing 5 members of the Earthstalkers, but at the same time, he was a guest in our country from the Empire of Japan. Powers that be were determined. His final days shouldn't be needlessly over. What was the exception? To the personal effects he was allowed. Hype isn't an emote? I was guessing for one there. Oh. That's the point. He wasn't permitted to have writing materials. Specifically, to paper. So, he was prevented from leaving any written record of what had happened to him. Yes, it was long and short. I have no idea where he obtained that any writing materials would have been confiscated upon his incarceration. As I said, he hid the paper behind his back and then completed it. Did you just hide behind your back? Please, turn. This is my life now. No, it's against you. You're the only person who can see. You just have to keep. What's on that paper? The last will and testament. This will is the only weapon I have. How can a will be a weapon? So I decide to pretend I see nothing, and I let him keep his will. But then later, it just seemed to vanish without a trace. What? What do you mean it vanished? Is that in the mysterious will? I was the only person who saw Asugi's will. It's disappeared. After Asugi's execution, it was actually an elaborate jailbreak. The warders gathered up Asugi's possessions. They were all to be sent back to his family home in Japan. Poor Kazuya-san, saying that it wasn't anywhere to be found among his personal effects. A will, I mean. That's right. No, I didn't search. Governor Caden screamed, It cannot have disappeared completely. That doesn't quite make sense, though. In what way? Well, we'd understood that only Mr. Visual was aware of the will's existence. In which case, how did the prison governor know to look for it? Oh yes, you're right. Well, I really don't know how he knew. That's so much info, but also damn that leaves so many questions. I think so too. But it certainly seems as though he knew of the will's existence. And he didn't refer to it as a will. What he said was the Asugi papers. The Asugi papers? I really can't tell you about the subsequent events. Because, well, what happened? Just the way you blocked it all. I've forgotten all of this until today. I don't suppose it's relevant to the case. Well, anyway, thank you very much for sharing it with us, Mr. Vigil. We're very grateful. I'm afraid there's really little more I can tell you. My wife Evie will be here shortly, so I do hope I don't appear rude, but... No, not at all. Thank you again. What will become of you now? Well, impersonating police officers is a criminal offense. I imagine that once I'm fully recovered, I shall be arrested. So sorry. Please, this is all my own doing. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I always knew that this way. I wish you well. Bye, Mr. Vigil. Ah! Before you go, there's just one thing. Oh, yes. What is it? Asogi papers. I'd be very grateful if you make no mention of this. Really for some good reason. Thank you for that. My understanding that their very existence is a closely guarded secret. If it became known that I'd remember, well, it would be rather troublesome. I understand. Some sort of will just before his death. Self-clean was his last weapon. I wonder, perhaps it had something to do with his plan to escape. If there's anyone who might know more about a document that Kazuma's father left behind, it would be Mr. Vigil's governor. We know precisely where we must go. Back to Barclay Prison. Wait, what? I thought we said we wouldn't mention it. Okay. Here we go. Also, that guillotine clock terrifies the fuck out of me. Added extra immersion exact. Ugh, back again, Aria. Yes, hello. I've heard about a bit about. How did the Scottish say about? Sounds like every time I say about, I think it's like Canadian. I've heard about your investigations. I read reports just now. You found him, eh? Vigil. Yes, luckily. Well, anywho, the laddie doesn't work here no more, so your case is now to do with Barclay. I wouldn't like you to get the wrong idea about that. Clock makes you so angry, why? Of course, yes. Mr. Vigil stopped working here 10 years ago now, so... Yes, we've seen his dismissal notice, haven't we? He was given the chop. Hi, Kimmer. You can very well. So, how about a wee handcuff biscuit? Oh, they really are like little handcuffs. And as hard as irons, too. So, what's brought you doing here today? Well, there's something else we'd like to ask you about, actually. Is that so? We believe there might have been a document that disappeared from Genshin Asogi's cell. I think it's been called the Asogi Papers or something. There I no say. Gregson's death is not to do with things that might have happened at Barclay. I love clocks, and there is no clock. Maybe it's not a clock. I don't see any hands on that clock. Leave the past in the past, laddie. Let's not further about with relevant details. His expressions changed completely. We're clearly onto something here. The grandfather clock? You've had one like that before? That murderer's botched execution, and the whole miserable escape. They were Barclay's darkest hour. A shocking embarrassment. Because the convict had a collaborator on the prison staff, you mean? Ah, for shame. The coroner who confirmed the death of the man after his execution is Courtney Scythe. And my chief warder at the time, Vigil, who was in charge of the whole affair. But Mr. Vigil says he didn't know anything about it. The rascal wouldn't say otherwise, eh? More handcuffs. Oh, how could I say no? You can never have too much iron in your diet. And Mr. Vigil was handed his dismissal notice as a result of what had happened. He was so despairing he jumped out of your office window, didn't he? I didn't like to say it, but that's just Vigil trying to get out of it. You don't think he wouldn't have jumped from the shock of his crimes being exposed there? I do. You wouldn't say otherwise though, would you? I like the sarcasm. Of course, I can assume all responsibility to myself. I shouldn't have let him deceive me. Actually, there's barely anybody that kens what went on at the time now. With Gregson have been murdered and Dr. Scythe forbidden. Oh wait, whoops. Forbidden from having any visitors. No visitors. Someone obviously doesn't want her giving anything away. Well, you're not going home empty-handed. And I wouldn't dream of sending you packing with no kimmer. Here, take a handcuff or two. How's my Scottish accent? Oh, well, it would be rude to say no. I wouldn't want to become anemic. I suppose, if there's anybody who might still ken a bit what happened back then, it'd be that last from the forensic division, Maria Gore. And by the way, Sin, if I had time, I would literally edit this entire stream to make this into a podcast. Scottish Sin is the best thing to wake up in the morning. Maria Gore. I appreciate that. Ah, Side's daughter. She didn't have no more, just the one. But the wee bairn's following in her man's footsteps. You didn't ever see her without a scalpel in her hand. Ah, I remember her. This bitch. Mama, what is this? And did she just call the doctor Mama? The Dr. Scythe's daughter, Maria Gori. You and Scottish get... yeah, sometimes whenever I like get into an accent, it starts to blend into the others. And it's hard to like start differentiating. So, you want me to? I'll do this in a Scottish accent. So she's Dr. Scythe's daughter, but her name is Gory. But her surname's Gory. Aye, there's some family history, I'm sure, but I didn't ken the ins and outs of it. She grew up watching her mom working with the bodies of the folk who died in strange circumstances, and decided to do with the same with her own life. I can understand it myself. Perhaps she was driven by a deep respect for her mother. Perhaps. Anywho, she was in charge of Gregson's autopsy, I believe. Right. And the coroner responsible for this incomplete report. Someone told me once that the wee lassie always loved her mom's stories about cutting up bodies. There's even a rumor that she used to listen to the funeral march as a lullaby. But well then, perhaps her mother might have told her about the autopsy from the case 10 years ago. I'd say there's a fighting chance at least. After all, that was a life-changing case for all of us. We really need to speak to Miss Gloria herself about this, I think. Well, thank you very, very much. That accent was awkward. I'm not happy about any part of this. It took years for Londoners to finally forget the whole professor business. Can you not give up on this, laddie? Stop asking pointless questions. Sorry. I don't like dredging up these painful memories for everyone. Can you not just stay away no? Leave me alone and didn't come back here, eh? Time more to talk to you, yeah? How'd you come to ken about that, laddie? There's not many folk even here in the prison who've heard of these papers. Ah, well, I can't tell him Mr. Vigil told me. I'm afraid our sources must remain confidential, sir. Scottish sin is seeping into everyone now. We've been led to believe that the papers are actually their last will and testament. Is that right? The professors, or rather Genshin Asogi's. Aye, that's right. You're well informed, Jimmy. Oh, so that's the end of the silent treatment. But then after the convict's execution, it mysteriously vanished from his cell, didn't it? Heavens, no! You're off a hack cock there. I think you didn't quite get your facts straight. It was there in the cell, exactly where it should have been. Oh, not what we heard elsewhere. Let me just have a wee hook around in here. Sure, I can find it. Congrats! Good catch. Aye, here you are. See? The last will and testament of Genshin Asogi. Written in with a calligraphy book. Of course, I cannot read a word of those Japanese squiggles. But I mind it says he leaves all his worldly possessions to his son back in his homeland. Yes, that's correct. That's the gist of it. These are the Asogi papers. Aye, of course they are. Papers written by Asogi, no doubt about it. There's no mystery here, laddie. That's your lot. After all the stramash of that slicer of us execution, we sent the man's possessions back to his clan in Japan. And that was the end of it. By accidents disappearing. I think we ought to make a record of this, Mr. Naruhodo, just in case. Atsuki papers have been entered. I feel like I have like actual 5,000 ping too, so I calculated time between messages being sent by calculators. One thing before you go on your way, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, yes. Those papers are not to do with Gregson's death. I'd prefer it if you didn't make no mention of them outside this office, or rather, I wouldn't have just prefer it. Consider it an order from the highest levels of order government. Sheesh! I understand. Okay, let me look at this real quick. With I take my fate in line and I regret nothing about my chosen path. Okay. Oh, we can't even talk to him. Okay, never mind. Can we re-investigate the Fresno street room? Yeah, big orders. There are details of page stretching out backwards on the report Van Zeke's defeats. Consider everything on the board. It's certainly true. All these people had a background of dubious dealings. Of course, the board itself concealed an inspector's own death. I'm barely thinking about. Well, if there's anything else to talk about. Look, Sin is a step stool. Where? Ah! I think that's just a stool. He obviously loves his wife very deep, which is why he felt he couldn't tell her the truth. It was incredible, wasn't it? Just from that big twisted lips. It really seemed like it was much more. But that was Mr. Vigil's true character. Really are very hard to fathom at times. Yep. Okay, I mean, I don't think we have any business here. Is there anything to first about? Nope. I don't think I need to give the... Oh wait, I didn't mean to go here. whoops. No, I think that's a step stool. Quite the 14th episode argument about it. Oh my lord! Lord Chief Justice's office. Does he have anything to say? Do we have anything to talk about to him? Oh shit, we do. No arguments, prosecutor. We'll continue with the trial exactly as I instructed. Is that clear? Perfect. It's Kazuma-sama. Fine Lord Strongheart by the sound of it. He never did know when to back down. Danby, stop it. On your way now, Asogi. My lord. Danby, stop it! Kazuma. He left without saying a word. Yes, what are you doing? Oh, well, I was just hoping to ask you a few questions if you wouldn't mind. I wanted Van Zeke's trial concluded today. But Prosecutor Asogi's unwelcome inquiries are going to make it take longer than necessary. Unwelcome inquiries? As a result, I'm losing even more precious time. Currently 2 hours, 55 minutes, and 41 seconds. 42, 43... And we must resolve everything before 3 hours have passed, Mr. Naruhodo. In a miraculous not even 5 minutes. Anyway, I can't let the man's obvious bad move. I need information. I think Lord Strongheart's behind all of this. I think Lord Strongheart's the evil guy. Does Prosecutor Asogi believe that Lord Van Zeeks is the Reaper? I wouldn't know. It was 10 years ago, that fateful close trial, that Lord Van Zeeks made a name for himself, long to this year. But the next trial he fought, he lost. It meant the ringleader of a criminal organization was acquitted, thanks to all the jurors being under duress. That's awful. The man's freedom was short-lived. It lasted just 3 days. Yes, he let me see. He died in a rock slide at his place of work. Alright. That was the inauguration of the Reaper of the Bailey. People believe Lord Van Zeeks was responsible. He was brought to trial himself, but it was shown to have been an accident. He must have had a solid alibi then. Nevertheless, the mysterious deaths continued. In total, 16 persons perished in unusual circumstances, ostensibly at the hand of the Reaper. That's a long run of coincidences. Well, the Reaper's true identity may well be revealed by this trial. The impact that revelation would have on the British public cannot be understated. That why is a closed trial? Precisely. This country hasn't seen a closed trial for 10 years. The last one was a professor's. Trial of Genshin Asogi? Correct. Actually, we heard that originally. You're going to prosecute that trial yourself, Lord Strongheart. Van Zeeks entreated me to relinquish the place that he might avenge his brother's death. Here we are, 10 years later. With the son of the man Van Zeeks had condemned, now looking to avenge his father's death in the same way. You say that what goes around comes around. Von Karma. However, it would seem... Hey, Saint, I'm kind of dozing off, so I'm gonna head to sleep right about now. No worries, good night, Bread. I hope that you have a great sleep. I like my organization to run smoothly, in the exact manner that I prescribe. As with a giant clock in here, I won't tolerate a single cog being out of step with the others. I might stay for the whole stream until morning again. No, please, I value everyone's sleeping schedule over my stream. If the young man refuses to mess with the parts of my great machine, I will be forced to take steps. What do you mean? Not something with which you need to concern yourself. In any case, all your questions will be answered tomorrow. Sheesh, okay. Okay. Now, I shall have to ask you to excuse me. As of this moment, I've been delayed from attending my next meeting by precisely 3 minutes. Oh my, that is a long time. And I hold you entirely responsible. What? Even though we miraculously managed to fit everything into not even 5 minutes? I wonder if you might agree to us, talking with Prosecutor Asogi. Discussions between the defense and the prosecution outside of the courtroom are generally frowned upon. However, I will make an exception in this case. Now go! You can find him in his office. Oh, thank you! Arigatou gozaimasu! Let's go to see him at once, Mr. Naruhodo. Kazuma's my best friend in the world, but I'm really not at all sure I know how to talk to him at the moment. A new location has been added. Prosecutor's office. Wait, is that Clint? I would imagine that's Clint instead of Baroque. So, this is the office of the prosecutor Asogi now, is it? Kazuma-sama is doing so well for himself. Even though he's always forced to kneel on the floor Japanese style in that dark corner, it's his habit to seize a style whenever he's working. Kazuma. I thought it wouldn't be long before you paid me a visit, Junosuke. I was right about what I said, wasn't I? Sorry? That you have all the makings of a great defense player. I will say, the staying ID very compelling, but I do have exam tomorrow, so sleep also. Yes, please, sleep! It should be like 3 a.m., no? 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. It should be like 3 a.m., no? Yeah, it's 3 a.m. No, it's 4 a.m. I was right. Where did your sleep thing come from? Funny story. In high school, I was notorious for sleeping in every single class I've been in. And that carried on to college as well. I've fallen asleep in every single class available to me. At least once. So the sleep thing just stuck. I've slept through every single class, almost every single church. Like when I did go to church, every church sermon I would fall asleep. Everything I've slept through. I always believed that you'd fulfill your dream of advocating in the British courts. Just never imagined for 1 second that it would be as the prosecutor. Seeing you stand in a foreign courtroom, so gallantly realizing your dream. And I am truly thankful to you, judicial system. Yunosuke, I always thought it would be fun for you and I to shake up in the British legal system a little together. This isn't quite how I envisaged it, but... Oh, also, okay, 4 a.m. is a bit too late. I better head to sleep. Good night. Yes, go sleep. Good night, Brad. Have a good dream. Suppose it's just another twist of fate. Learned a lot from you during my time in London about how Susato-san's father was himself visiting along with Judge Chikoku, and about what happened with your father. And you'll have no difficulty understanding why I had no choice, why I had to find a way to get to Britain. Visiting student list. I want to hear from you, Kazuma. As you wish, Yunosuke. Hold on. What if I present to you the Asogi papers? So, what do you make of this? What? There's only one place where defense lawyers are supposed to... Okay, I guess. You're still confused. Man. Okay, what about your armband? This is your armband. Actually, I think it's yours now. Sorry? You're the defense lawyer. have a talent for it. I've always known that you would. Now you've chosen to take that path. As your friend, I couldn't be happier. More proud. You keep hold of that. Besides, I'm a prosecutor. That armband would have no meaning for me. Oh, you're sure? Thank you. Okay, that's all I wanted. It's getting on for a year now, since what happened on the SS Budio. We were headed across the oceans when a bizarre series of coincidences of coincidences led to those tragic events. I thought I'd lost my best friend forever. Must have been unconscious for a long time. When I woke, I was lying on a bed. It was a narrow little room. There was a posy of flowers by the pillow. It took me a little while to realize that I was in the cabin of a ship. I slipped out of the room and headed up onto the deck. You already suffering from amnesia at that point? Yes, I didn't know what had happened, where I was. There was just this voice in my head. You have something to do. Something no one else can know about. To go to Great Britain. Your task awaits you there. It was a calling I couldn't ignore. It compelled me relentlessly. Out on deck, I saw that I was on a huge steamship and we were docked in a large port. Must have been Hong Kong. Yes, must have been. Presumably just before they were due to carry your body off the ship. I had no idea of the situation, but I did have the feeling that this was in some way my last chance. So I concealed myself among the disembarking passengers and went ashore. Then, I disappeared into the crowded streets of that foreign port city, so I could plan my onward journey to Great Britain. Just under a year ago, with all my past memories lost to me, I was left behind at Hong Kong. Everything was foreign to me. The sights, the sounds, the smells. My head reeled. I was truly at a loss. I realized now that I'd escaped as a dead man, with nothing but the clothes on my back. No money, of course. Oh, how terrifying for me. Luckily, though, 2 feathers in my cap. One being your knowledge of English, I suppose. That's right. And on the back of that, I was able to pick up some work as a deckhand on a cargo ship. Eventually, after calling at countless ports, I finally arrived at Dover. That must have been some 3 months ago. Your formidable tenacity on its purpose, showing itself again. Me, the man had lost his memory and literally nothing to his name. But he still managed to make his way to London on the opposite side of the world. Of course, I had no idea why I'd moved heaven and earth to get here at that point. So, how did you end up becoming Lord Van Zeke's apprentice? That can only be called extraordinary stroke of luck. You see, I was stopped at the border because I had no papers. It took me straight to Scotland Yard. By sheer coincidence, Lord Strongheart was there attending a meeting. That's when the second feather in my cap came. But that have been your knowledge of the law? Yes, exactly. Lord Strongheart was curious about an Easterner with intimate knowledge of British law. He took me back with him to the Supreme Court and signed me to the prosecutor's office. Then, 9 days ago, you finally got your memory after the trial involving Dr. Drebin. Yes, I did. Ever since I first met you at Yume, we talked about your dream. Mark my words, Yunosuke. I will be chosen as a visiting student and make my way to Great Britain. Did you know the entire time about what happened to your father here? 16 years ago. Aw, that's cute. When my father left on that exciting trip to Great Britain, I was just a boy. We took a photograph together the day before his departure. It's my last memory of him. But what I remember most about my father is his unswerving sense of justice. 6 years after he left, a gentleman called at our family home. He told me that Genshin, my father, had been taken ill in England and passed away. It was Professor Mikotoba, your father's sister. Ever since then, the professor was very good to me. He even helped to fund my university education in Yume. I'll be forever in his debt. But nevertheless, I just couldn't bring myself to believe what he told me. Oh. And one day, a letter arrived at our house from Britain. There was no indication of the sender, so I opened it, assuming it was from an old acquaintance of my father. What I read in that letter changed my entire life. What did it say? It said that my father had been a mass murderer, and the writer cursed the Asogi name. Oh no, that must have been... As a result of that letter, I found out what had been hidden from me all those years. That must have been Baroque Van Zieks. Presumably, the letter was sent from a relative of one of the victims. If whoever it was had been a member of the judiciary, he could have been present at the closed trial. The letter revealed that my father had been sentenced to death, executed for being a killer. I'm so sorry you had to find out that way. I imagine the British government did its very best to censor whoever sent that letter. Someone who knew the truth, couldn't bear the resentment. It was always going to be a problem. But still, it could have been written by anyone. Why would you believe such a thing? There was a newspaper cutting included with the letter. It was the first I'd ever heard of the professor and his terrible killing spree. Oh, what did my father have to say about the letter? I couldn't bring myself to show it to him. Because he deliberately concealed the truth from me by telling me my father was taken by a fatal illness. That couldn't have been easy for him, and he'd done it out of consideration for my feelings. So instead, I showed the letter to Judge Jigoku. To the other visitors. He faltered for the briefest of moments, but then he just left the letter off. But at that moment, I saw it on his face. He was undeniably shocked, shaken momentarily, before recovering his poise. A year later, my bereaved mother succumbed to the strain of grief. And she too passed away. That's when I made up my mind that one day, without fail, I would cross the seas to Britain and seek the truth for myself. The truth about my father, Genshin Asogi. And I wouldn't let anyone stand in my way. Oh, Kazuma-san. What we learned today in court turned things completely on their head. It was an impressive piece of lawyering. Van Zieks is people. I almost don't want to believe it myself. But it turns out that Inspector Gregson himself, the victim, was... It's clear that the Inspector was behind the Reaper activity all along. What? You mean, you knew? The real question is, who's been giving orders to the Inspector? Yes, Baroque Van Zieks is the real Reaper. And I know that 10 years ago, it was him decided my father must be a mass murderer and sent him to his grave. No, he was merely seeing that justice was done as the law dictates. He's not to blame. Ultimately, it's people who condemn people. Law is just a tool that they use to do it. And when a man condemns another, he must take responsibility for his actions. Of course he must. But I know for certain, my father would never have taken another man's life. On the contrary, my father's life was taken by the Reaper. Okay, there's got to be more to it. Let's see, is there anything to show? There's really nothing. Okay, I guess that's it. Yeah, no, that's it. I don't know if there's anything to give 2%. So we will leave. after I look at this. Scale model of the crime scene. Yeah. Be honest, you enjoyed making that. Oh my god, look at that! Look at that! This is where Baroque Van Zieks has all his wine! Look at those fucking barrels of wine! Actually, no. That's too important to entrust to anybody else. He does it entirely on his own. So he's a barrel of last year and in court then. Ha 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 ha. Okay, we're gonna move. Maybe the prison? Do you have anything new? No? Waterloo Hotel? No? Dome's a suite? I have no idea. I feel like I'm supposed to do something. It's always a good thing to check here. Okay, what next? Alright. Yeah, because What do we need? What do we need? Okay, I guess he's not here. I feel like I still need to do something in the prosecutor's office. What about Mr. Vigil's hospital bed? Is he gone? No. What about the Fresno Street room? No. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. You guys know what I'm supposed to do next? I feel like I've done everything. Except, like, I feel like I need to present to him something, but, like, I don't know what I need to present. What about the autopsy report? This came up in the trial, didn't it? As something a little dubious, I mean. The fact that no time of death was recorded on Inspector Gregson's autopsy. Yes, there were some unexpected turns in the report earlier. The suggestion you came up with certainly took everyone's surprise. The idea that the victim died the previous day at some other location is quite simple. Well, considering when the pocket watch was stopped, scorch marks on the handle, it's certainly a distinct possibility. The evidence and the scene both point to it. To be honest, it bothered me too, so I paid a visit to the autopsy. The coroner responsible wasn't there, but I got a name. It's Dr. Gory. If it wouldn't trouble you, as myself, we'd very much like to speak with the coroner too. Of course, the last thing I want is for anything to be brushed under the carpet. Scotland Yard's autopsy laboratory is behind Lowgate Cemetery. By Barclay Prison. We already know this, why are you... you know it. Prison where my father was incarcerated. Robbed of his life. Well, thank you. We'll pay a visit to the laboratory later today. Ah, there we go. Yunosuke, I want to thank you. What for? For this. You safeguarded the soul of the Asogi. Well, it is a famous sword that's been in your family for generations. My only slight regret is that I never got the chance to draw it before I returned it to you. Haruma is said to have been forged by a master swordsman during the Sengoku warring states. I come from a long lineage of warriors, many of whom were expert swordsmen. Well, you're a chip off the old block, I say. This blade, Karuma, is a symbol of the Asogi clan's honor and might. Apparently, one of my father's apprentices even took the blade's name for a surname. Really, Karuma. That does sound familiar. It does sound formidable, that's for sure. 16 years ago, when my father was a visiting student here in London, he had this sword forever at his side. Which is why it means so much to me that I have it by my side again now too. That, all thanks to you. It was an honor. Now, I have preparations to make for tomorrow. Perhaps I said a little too much. Kazuma, you've changed. No, Ryunosuke, I haven't changed at all. It's you who's changed. I can completely understand your resentment of Lord Van Zieks given what happened. But the fact is, those events in this case are, well, unrelated? Is that what you want to say? How can you be so sure? What do you mean? Never mind. That man is the Reaper. It's for that reason that the inspector was killed. I'm going to prove as much in court tomorrow, by whatever means necessary. I can't let you do that, Kazuma. I know you'll do what you have to as a lawyer, but I'm sure I don't need to tell you that I won't be taking any prisoners in the courtroom. I would expect nothing less. Until tomorrow then, in the Old Bailey. Wow, she added a lot of toys in her thing. This place is really creepy. Wow, being a dead room, it's probably full of the spirits of the dissected. But actually, there's a rather pleasing scent of roses in the air. Well, being a dead room, the coroner probably needs a bold scent like that to match the odor of death. Iris, do you think we could change the subject? What was that? Dr. Gory. What? That noise before. I was sharpening my tools. I'd be dead meat if I didn't keep a perfectly clean edge on it. Right. I'm following the collagen fibers in the dermis. Expertly sharpened scalp. Let's like cheese. Would you like a demonstration? Oh yes, please. I'd love to see. Then, I think you'll do nicely. Huh? No! No, I wouldn't do nicely at all! I mean, maybe some other time. Tut, well, I came here to ask questions, so... We have actually met before. I'm a lawyer, if you remember. You're not dead yet. What? So Mama said I wasn't to cut you out. She's so strict about things like that. Well, good. Dr. Scythe has some scruples at least. Oh dear. It looks like she's not interested in talking to us. For the time being, anyway. Time being? You mean, till we die? I hope that's way off. Sorry, but I wasn't planning on dying anytime soon. Surely there's some less drastic way of making her listen. What if we presented her the autopsy report? Dr. Gordon, we actually came here to ask you about this. It was very good. Good, sorry? His skin didn't snag my blade once. And very little mess. His joints dislocated easily, and his muscle tissue was a pleasure to work with. We can skip those details. But there's one thing about the report that's caught my attention.
We don't seem to have recorded the time of death. That's not my fault. Oh, that made me jump. Then please, tell us what happened. I like how the time of death switches to time of death. So why doesn't this autopsy report include the victim's time of death then? It's really the most crucial detail. I was told not to write it. What? By whom? Mayo Strongheart, the Lord Chief Justice. He came here. Lord Strongheart came? He said that from the witness statements about the gunshot and the other evidence. It was obvious. The man clearly died at 5 p.m. on 1st November when the gunshot was heard. But that's not the time of death you wrote on the report. You didn't write anything. Was it? Was there some reason you didn't include it? Dr. Gory, if you're hiding something under Lord Strongheart's instructions, then sooner or later, you're going to go to the same way your mother. Give it here, then. What's she scribbling so furiously? There. You've written... What? What's she written? Tell us. Indeterminate. What? The details of the autopsy report have been updated in the court record. What do you mean by that? Why was the time of death indeterminate? When the specimen was brought in, it was still fresh, so the time of death could easily have coincided with when the gunshot was heard. But there was one small discrepancy. What discrepancy? There was some fried fish in the pocket of the specimen's overcoat. That fish had started to rot. What? If the victim liked fried fish, he presumably liked to eat it before it went off. Well, yes. What are you really trying to say? It is possible that someone tried to manipulate the apparent time of death. Manipulate them? Is that even possible to do? Theoretically, if you were to chill the body in ice, you could delay the onset of putrefaction. And if the overcoat wasn't on the body at the time, then only the fish would have started to rot. Today's science is not yet possible to determine if the body was chilled or not. But today's science is advanced enough to let you freeze a corpse, it seems. Surely, to chill a corpse like that would require an enormous electrical refrigerator. And I don't imagine many households in London are equipped with such a device. No, definitely not. But maybe in a factory, or some other special places? I don't recall seeing any factories or such like on the Fresno street, though. I wonder, if the inspector's body had been chilled somehow, what might the actual time of death have been? I couldn't say for sure. But at the most, it might have been a day earlier. No! In other words, it would corroborate your previous deduction, Mr. Makoto. That Inspector Gregson was killed the day before his body was discovered, at a different location. Did you inform Lord Strongheart of this possibility? He simply said that there was no electrical refrigerators of that size in the vicinity. Oh fuck. What about an icebox then? Oh yes, one other thing. It's something the governor of Barclay Prison told us. He said that your mother, Dr. Scythe, was responsible for confirming the death of the professor after his execution. The professor. Apparently, you always enjoyed listening to your mother's stories about her work, so we were wondering if you might know something about what happened 10 years ago. That's not all Mama did. Sorry? My mama carried out the autopsy of Clint Van Zeeks as well. What? Really? The brother of Lord Van Zeeks, the professor's final victim. The idea of carrying out an autopsy on a member of the aristocracy was completely unthinkable back then. I like how her eyes are shiny. Even though she looks completely like emotionless, her eyes were shining about when she was talking about that. Like how Susato is when she's excited. That autopsy provided the vital clue we needed to arrest the killer. Mama was there for that historic event. What does all this mean? No. That amazing autopsy happened right here in this very room. The professor and Clint Van Zeeks. They both spent their final moments
for the Bureau on the dissection table. So this lab, Mama's lab, was instrumental in some of the country's most important events. She really is proud of her mother. Hey, welcome back, Lahads. I wonder if you tell us more exactly about what happened back then, Dr. Gordon. The professor's execution was Mama's first big case. She had to be in attendance at Barclay's prison execution chamber and signed the certificate to confirm the convict's death. Mama is the best coroner in the world, you know. I was so proud of her. But the execution didn't actually take place. No, and worse still, Mama actually helped with the jailbreak. I didn't want to know. You found out recently. I believed in her, in Mama, but now I wonder if I'm starting down the same path as her. You mean, because you omitted the time of death on this autopsy report? But that's because Lord Strongheart forbade you from including it. Just like Mama. I'm sure she was coerced by somebody too. Yes, that's my feeling as well. There's no doubt that there were powerful forces at play 10 years ago. The execution couldn't have been staged without a lot of people at the prison knowing about it. Obviously, the prison governor must have been in on it as well. The big man with the little handcuffs. According to what he told us, he was tricked by the chief warder. He says he knew nothing about it. Of course he said that. I'd say the same thing. Just who was behind that jailbreak all those years ago? I think it's Male Strongheart. Don't you guys think? You mentioned the autopsy of Clint Van Zeeks. It was at a time when carrying out autopsies of murder victims was very unusual. Still not a practice that's observed in our country, even now. It turned out that he was the professor's final victim when the autopsy was performed. Mama was present, although only as a secondary assistant. The person leading the procedure was called Dr. John H. Wilson. That's right, my daddy! And there was one other person present, the primary assistant. He was a visiting student from the Far East. Wait, a visiting student? It must have been my father, Eugene Mikotoba. I had no idea Professor Mikotoba had been involved in something so important. But the outcome of that historic autopsy was the discovery of a vital piece of evidence that led to the capture of the professor. That's how they came to identify Genshin Asogi as an infamous mass murderer. If you happen to know anything about that piece of evidence, you tell us any more. Would you like to see the records for yourself? What? Would that be alright? What's the point of keeping records if people can't look at them? They're filed under V at the back of the covers, with the other records for the last decade. Thank you. Let's see. Van Zeeks. That's strange. What, Mr. Naruhodo? They aren't here. There's nothing under Van Zeeks. There must be. Perhaps somebody took them away. No one's allowed to take documents related to the professor case out of this room. But you're right, they're gone. This is the first time I've seen shock on her face. Well, when was the last time somebody looked at them? Do you remember? It was... Oh yes, I remember now. It was 2 years ago. A consulting detective came one day, saying that he'd like to see the records. No, you don't mean... Sherlock Holmes was his name. Deep down, I knew that was coming. Do you think he stole the records? Oh no, surely not. Iris, that can't be right, can it? Iris? Ruh-roh, Raggy? Bruno. I hope you don't mind, but... What is it, Iris? I've just remembered something very important I have to do. I'm going to have to leave you now. Oh, this is very sudden, Iris. Hello? Well, we'll come with you then. Oh, no. There is no need. You and Bruno can take your time here. Bye for now, then. Good luck. Wait a minute, little girl. Hmm? Me? I remember now. You've been here before, haven't you? Oh, have you, Iris? Yes, 2 years ago, when that detective came. You were with him, weren't you? You were a living specimen then, too. That's the way it usually works, yes. Was I? I really don't remember. Anyway, sorry, but I must dash. Wait, Iris. I'll brew up a pot for you when you get home. She's starting to lie too. What's the matter with her? She's behaving really strangely all of a sudden. Well, in that case, we won't keep you any longer either. It's been quite a while since I had any visitors. This was really fun. But next time you come, I prefer it if you were ready for dissection. I can't make any promises, sorry. It's a bit strange that the records of Clint Van Zeek's autopsy have disappeared, but I think we've asked all we came to ask now. She's not at Sholmes' suite. She's not here. Where could she be? Okay, so we still have more to do. Hey, Barak isn't here. I don't know what to do next. Mr. Vigils? No. Prosecutor's office? Is Kazuma here? Hello? No? You know, this would be the perfect time to end stream. Oh. Hello. What's all this then? Police are still busily investigating here then. But Gina's nowhere to be seen. Where is she? Yes, it has been blissfully quiet, hasn't it? Perhaps she's out investigating on her own, practicing what her boss taught her. Well, I expect she'll be back before too long. Shall we wait? Actually, there's something different about this room since the last time we were here. Isn't there? You can always use the time to investigate more thoroughly. Oh man, I'm tempted. I want to click this. This little trunk wasn't here before, was it? Oh, it appears to be made of metal. It must be very heavy. Wonder to whom it belongs. There are some initials on the outside. Look. TG. Tobias Gregson? Let's ask if they know how I came to be here. Oi! What do you think you're doing? That's my trunk, that is. Hands off! Gina! Where were you hiding? I don't know, you leave something unattended for a few seconds, and every Tom, Dick, and Harry's got his greedy eyes on it. Just a wild guess, Gina, but... What? Spit it out, Otto. Is it fair to say that you've only owned that trunk since this morning's trial? What? What are you trying to say? Come on, this trunk goes with me everywhere. Always has. Where have you been last year? Not to incur your wrath, mainly. I'm gonna end it here. Despite everything. Because I have no time, and this seems like a good stopping point. So, without further ado, let me hit the screen and find someone to raid. Alright, let me find let me bring this up so that I can see who we're going to raid. Have any of you heard of Bryce? I think Bryce would be a good person to. Yeah, let's raid Bryce. I haven't raided Bryce McQuaid in forever. See ya, handsome. Bryce McQuaid. Oh, raid settings do not allow you to raid at this time. Man! Feels bad, man. I guess we raid someone else. When's the last time? Yeah. 15. Never mind. Hellfiber? Hellfiber's been quite a bit, help. A nice, like... She's not... I mean, she is streaming, but she's like, You know what? No, she's still here, so let's raid help. Alright. Here's our raid message. If... Oh, wait, whoops. If you're subbed, you're allowed... I'll suggest someone one day. No worries. It's all good. Alright. If you're subbed, you're allowed to use that raid message instead. I hope everyone has a great day, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. And as always, please remember to take care of yourselves. And I will see you all in the next stream. Alright, take care, y'all.